Y'all, I have been testing a lot of makeup this year, and to really give you a rundown on everything and how it compares to each other, I thought I would do like a mid-year report card. I have over 100 products here that I have ranked within categories. I thought that would give you the best idea of what I'm actually using day to day, what I actually have loved that I bought, and what I feel like I can do without. I mean, strap in though, this video is not for the faint of heart, okay? This video is going to be long. If you are here for the reviews, I got you. Let's get into them. We're gonna start off with a fun category like blush. I have a lot of the new blushes that have come out this year. We have liquids, there's creams, there's powders, and everything in between. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a ranking for you guys. I'm gonna start from the bottom, get you to the top. But first I'm gonna get these kind of situated, and you might get a little bit of an overview of how I'm feeling, a little bit of a timeline. But let's get the ranking started. Starting at the bottom, number 20, this is the Milk Makeup pH Jelly Tint, and I actually quite liked the other ones of this. You know, they have that kind of fun jelly texture that is a little bit different and all that. Now with the pH one, you put this somewhere and you cannot see it initially. It's completely nothing, and then you can see this is developing on my hand. I hope that it's getting across what this looks like. Maybe the worst, honestly, blush to start with for this whole video, but it's pretty intense. The color develops in a way that is quite strong, and so because you can't see it initially when you put it on, the first time I put this on, you guys, it was unhinged. Okay, there was blush everywhere. I used the little brush that they had. I'm just shocked by the amount of pigment and everything that you're getting from such a small amount. This dot would do me for one cheek, and even then it'd be kind of a lot, and that just makes this kind of easy to F up. Anyway, I just think this is super hard to use. The pH part of it just makes it really hard to gauge how much you need to put on, and I know these jelly blushes were super popular for Milk, but this one is, it's not good. And if you didn't like those other ones, you're definitely not gonna like that one. Coming in at number 19, this is one of my most anticipated launches of the year, so I'm so sad to be putting it here. I did not want to, from Bobbi Brown. This is the Pot Rouge Velvet Matte. I have the shade Tea Rose 1. Maybe a different color with more pigment would be better, but this is a very velvet mousse, okay? I hope that the texture is really coming across on camera. It feels like a primer almost that can give you that like really filled in look. Think of the Tarte one. So it gives you that, but look, I've blended away the color, and no one wants a thick layer of this on their cheeks to actually get the color that you want from it. So maybe in a deeper or brighter color, you wouldn't need as much of this. You could have that sheer layer and it would still pop through. But blush definitely shows up on my skin tone, and this one just blends either away to nothing, or I have to have such a thick layer of this on my skin that it's just weird, like way too weird. So such a bummer on that one. I love the regular Pot Rouges though, so definitely check those out, but they're more of a glossy formula. Number 18, I believe we're on. This is from Haus Labs, and I told myself, don't buy these. Don't buy this, because this is the Color Fuse Glassy Blush Balm. Okay, so it's in the name. This is like a me problem, but I just couldn't get over the colors. This is part of the 4-color extension they came out with this year that is like sun-kissed and absolutely beautiful. This is just a harder formula for me. I wish it worked better. It looks so good swatching it, and if you have combo skin and are down with something a little glassy, glossy, or if you have dry skin, I know these are well loved, but there's something about this on my skin that just doesn't work, and I don't know why. I'm hoping I can fix that. I'm still gonna keep trying this, but at this point it's definitely a regret, because this glossy and glassiness definitely is a lot for my skin over the course of time. I'm already getting oily throughout the day, and this starts off looking like that, which is, again, stunning. If you have dry skin, beautiful. It's a beautiful formula, it really is. I've tricked myself into buying it even though I already have one and I didn't like it, because this color is so good. This is Glassy Ginger. Again, they have some really beautiful shades that came out in these more neutral colors, but not the formula for me, unfortunately. But this one's more personal. Again, if you have different preferences or skin type, it could be a beautiful blush to check out, but it ranks low on my personal scale. These next few we're moving into are ones that I kind of regret, but again, they could be stuff that works for other people, so take it with a grain of salt. This is the Dior new powder blush, and it's in the shade Toffee. I really was excited for this color, kind of similar to that that glassy ginger shade. But the thing I didn't realize, and this makes me kind of sad, because I was in person, swatched this in person, and I did not realize how golden the sheen was on this. You can see there, I mean, it is gold. In store, it looked more like flecks of sparkle, but as it actually blends onto the cheek, that golden sheen is just a little much on my skin tone. It makes it look a little less natural. I love the flush it gives, and these do have a bit of like that pH thing going on, so as much as it looks kind of tan in the case, I do find on my skin it does turn a little bit more pink on the actual color, and I think it's that pH. But if you love a sheen like this and you don't mind this kind of golden yellow, I'm telling you, it looks yellow, okay? Then this could be really pretty. It gives you that kind of bronze summer look. And I don't even find that the shimmer necessarily emphasizes texture too bad. It's just a little heavier looking on my skin, and I also feel like, again, that color just makes it a little bit harder to wear. So honestly, just disappointed that somehow I brought this in, swatching it in person, guys. Swatching it in person. Ranking in at number 16 are the YSL blushes. Now, these are the Make Me Blush blushers. I have number 93 and 44. I think 44 is Nude Lavalier. I cannot remember. Maybe Rose something. But I just find these not as delicate as I want on my skin. This has that same kind of issue as the Dior. I ordered these online though, so I didn't know. But it has like the pink peach going on in the base, but then it has such a strong sheen to it. I really do love a satin blush, but something with a gold shimmer like that, I just don't love it on my skin. And then this is the Nude Lavalier shade. Also, something about these that they catch the light in ways that sometimes just makes them look a little patchy, even if they're really not. I just can't get the proper amount of pigmentation on them the way I want to. I want to slowly build them up, and I feel like I'm always left with too much blush on, or the shimmers happening, and that also makes it look a little bit heavier again on my cheeks for a powder blush. So unfortunately, I didn't love these. I love the packaging though, and these are a big hit, so a lot of other people like them. You guys might like them, but they are not the powder blush for me. It seems like everyone is coming out with stick blushes this summer, and Charlotte Tilbury came out with a line that has some pearl built in. This is the shade Peach Glow, and it's the Unreal Blush Healthy Glow Stick. It's quite pigmented. You actually don't need as much of this as I thought you might. It's pretty, don't get me wrong, it's fine, but I just could do without it. It doesn't stay as tacky as the House Labs on my skin, but I just haven't fallen in love with it. Every time I use it, I'm just like, okay. I do think the glow is beautiful. Like, it is a really pretty shine if that's what you're looking for. And again, you don't want it quite as tacky as the House Labs, but there's just something about this, it's not quite working for me. Could be great for other people. Maybe I'll fall in love with it with more time, but so far, it's a 15. Okay, I'm realizing right now that there are actually only 17 different formulas of blushes. I don't know how I got that so wrong. I must have counted something twice in different shades, but that puts the Tower 28 at number 11, I believe. So the last one was 12. Sorry about the confusion with the numbers. Sometimes it's difficult to like number rank everything, I should know. Anyway, coming in at number 11 are the Tower 28 blushes. These are the Get Set Blur and Set Matte Powder blushes. I have 3 shades: Samo Spritzer, Long Beach Iced Tea, and Malibu Cooler. These were sent to me, and I think these are definitely nice blushes. They remind me kind of K-Beauty blushes that I've tried in the past. They do have that kind of velvety, blurred look to them. So that's Malibu Cooler. This is the iced tea one. And last is Samo Spritzer. So you can see here how they aren't nearly as pigmented as you think putting them on. They have a very blurred look to them. And when I first tried these, I actually really quite liked them. But the more I've had them, the more that I just haven't reached for them. And it's really because of this mattifying look. I can do like a cream to powder finish. I like a satin blush. You know, those are kind of more what I'm into. But these are very, very blurring, very, very matte. And I just find that I don't personally reach for this type of formula as much, so they kind of went down the ranking for me personally a bit. For number 10, I believe we're on track with that numbering. This is the Natasha Denona Cream Blush Duo, and it's the High Blush. I have the shade Fresh Mauve. The shade range on these were like the same. Everything looked the same, and so it was kind of hard to pick what colors I wanted out of this, but I do like this. This is where we're starting to get into like, I think overall solid formulas. It's just when I'm comparing comparing everything to each other when I am ranking it within all these blushes. This really only hits that middle ground, and I'm not finding I'm reaching for them over some other things. But it is a beautiful formula. I do like it. It's a little thinner, which I like. This is a cream blush on this side, and then this one has a little bit of sheen to it. It kind of reminds me of, I believe it's called the Bloom palette from her, which has some cream face products and also some powder face products in it, but come into a smaller compact formula. So I don't hate this. I just don't feel like I've been reaching for it as much as maybe I hoped I would. And yeah, so it ranks kind of in the middle. Coming in at number 9, I have the Makeup Forever Artist Color Crayons. Now, these color crayons are going to show up in a couple of other places, but I do have a few blush shades. These were sent to me. I have the color 101 Blushing Pink, really pretty. Almost looks more like a berry, like a red berry. And then I also have Cheeky Fuchsia. So really pretty colors. These are that stick kind of format, and I do like these okay. The more I've tried them, I'm like, okay, I can definitely get down with these. I think they're a solid formula, but I was so excited for these, but I don't know. I haven't fallen in love with them the way that I kind of thought I would, and maybe it's because of the colors. I really want to try that Wherever Walnut. I think that shade specifically would be one I'd really love in a blush because I love the lip liner so much. These are pretty though. The formula is a nice cream, good pigmentation. It's not overly glowy. It kind of sets down as well, so it doesn't stay tacky and sticky on the cheeks, but also doesn't lock down in a way that I don't love either. I find these are best to put on your brush and then blend onto the skin just because they're a little bit drier. If you're going to be drawing them on, you're going to need to blend them out a little bit more. They do blend out, but I find it's not as easy as some creamier formulas. I just feel like I should have liked these more. I feel like I should have liked these more. There's something about the packaging, although I think it's cute. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know what it is, guys. That's all I can tell you. Objectively, really good product, but I'm just not reaching for it like I thought I would. I believe we're at number 8 here, and I'm putting the Dior Stick Blush that just came out here. I shopped in store with you guys. I have a whole video if you want to check that out. It's also where I got the other Dior blush, and I decided to pick up the shade Cherry in this formula because when I swatched these were way more moisturizing than I would have thought, especially given how they looked online and just what I was thinking. So I figured, let me get a stronger color so that way I don't need as much of it on my cheeks, so I can avoid as much of that glow as possible. And so because I made that choice, I know that's the reason this can rank as high as it is. You can see the glassiness here, so that's definitely going to be a part of it. And I feel like you can maybe start seeing the pH. So all these Dior products are like using the pH factor of it, so they have that kind of hot pink, and you can see that coming through in this red. It's not like a red, it's like a pink red, which I don't necessarily mind. I like the color, and again, I can get just a small amount of this on my cheeks. It gives me a really beautiful flush, a little bit of that sheen, but I just have to be a little more careful that I don't overdo it with this one. I think the packaging is beautiful though. It's a product I do like to use when I'm going for that kind of popsicle lip, popsicle look on the cheeks, you know? It's a fun pop of color summer blush for me, so I don't regret this one, but it's like the only one of these like juicy sticks that I actually personally need, you know what I mean? So this is the one I like the most, and again, I feel like that color is what really makes it work. If I went with something like Toffee, I think that would have been harder to use. So even though I love this one, I'm telling you, definitely go swatch it in store and see if it's gonna be right for you at least. That Dior one kind of kicked off the beginning of like my positive blushes, the ones I'm excited to use and add to my collection, add some variety, but some good formulas. And so for 7th place, I'm putting the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewy Flushes. And I actually was very skeptical about these because they are a liquid. They have a doe foot though, and they are a little bit more on that glossy side, but I am a big fan of the Watermelon Glow line. So I was like, okay, I want to actually give these a try. They're also relatively affordable. I mean, they're still at Sephora, but with prices going up, these are $25 a piece. And I do think they give what they're saying. It's a flush of color. So that's the pink one. It's not too much. You can kind of build it up if you really want to. And although these are a bit more glassy, you can see the shine there. They dry down. They aren't actually tacky to the touch once they're dried down, and that's what makes them more wearable for me. That's kind of the same thing that happens with their actual dewdrops, which I love as a moisturizer. It gives you that glow, but it kind of creates this film over your face, and I really feel like they translate it into these blushes. So these are ones I definitely want to like spend even more time with, but they are some liquid glowy blushes I think are good. Okay, for number 6, I'm putting in this Flower Nose blush. This is from the most recent collection, the Shell's Jewel, and this is what it looks like. If you're interested at all in more in-depth swatches from any of the Flower Nose stuff, I did do a video, so definitely go check that one out. This is the shade 05, and it's a powder blush. It has a really nice sheen to it though. It's not overly pigmented, just really, really pretty. It's just a solid blush if I'm wanting something glowy. This definitely gives me the glow with that little bit of a pink flush. Kind of similar for number 5. This is the Say blush. I picked up the shade Mia, and this is a baked formula, which got me so excited. Those are my favorite when it comes to powder, and I do really like this color as well. It kind of gives that sun-kissed look. It also has a bit of a sheen on it. You can see there, it's a more of a cool sheen, whereas the color itself is a little bit more on the warm side, but I have enjoyed it when I've used it. So those two kind of rank similar, you know what I mean? Like, they're solid blush picks for sure. I'm happy to have them in my collection, but they're not quite holy grail, you know? Coming in at number 4, this is from Persona. Now this has just been repackaged, but I did want to put it in here. This is the shade Guava. I really love this cream blush formula. It has nice pigment. It is definitely creamy, but I don't find that it's overly like glowy or glossy on my skin, and there's enough pigment that I don't need to put too much on, again, for my oily skin. So I wanted to throw it in here because this is just one of my favorite stick cream blush formulas, and since it's technically repackaged, it deserved a spot at the top. All right, we're into top 3. This is a Gucci blush. You guys know I love the Gucci blushes, and I did pick up one of the limited edition packaging. I just thought I would show you that. This isn't a new color for the line, but this is what the Gucci blushes normally look like, just regular packaging. This was some limited edition packaging for holiday last year, and they were also limited edition colors, and then this is the newest one. I picked up the shade 1 Rose, which I didn't have. This is number 3, and then this is number 11. They all look very similar. I'll swatch them though. So here's number 1 Rose. This one is almost more matte feeling than the other ones, but it does have a sheen to it. Really, really beautiful. I love number 3. This one's a little more peachy technically. You can see that there. And then this ruby one, number 11, again, was from holiday, so it was limited edition, but definitely more of like almost like a watermelon color. So love these blushes. I feel like, again, they're pigmented but buildable. I don't get too much on, and for me, they have like the perfect amount of sheen where they don't look flat and matte on the face, but they also don't emphasize any texture. They just give a healthy look to the cheek. So love these so much, and I'm excited to explore this new color. Very, very pretty. Top 3 for sure. That one was kind of a slam dunk though, because I knew I loved the formula. Okay, surprising in my number 2. Never would I have guessed that this would be number 2 for what I've been trying. Now, specifically the shade Thrill of these Chantecaille cheek gelées is the one I actually love. The other 2 are pretty. I don't quite have as much experience using them, but Thrill, I can't stop using. These 3 are all new shades from this line, and they all have a shimmer kind of pearl to them. So again, this is Thrill. It kind of gives that bronzer kind of look, and you can really sheer this out, which is what I love. So I'm really shearing it out. It does have a sheen to it. It kind of can give me that glassy look on my cheeks, but the thing is, this dries down, which I really, really love. My favorite way to use this is to put some on the back of my hand. I take my beauty sponge, really work the product into the base of the sponge, and then kind of messily put this on my cheeks like all over, and it just immediately looks so sun-kissed on my cheeks. Absolutely beautiful. If I'm wanting a little more pigment than what this gives, even though I feel like this just blends perfect. Sometimes with blush application you can see the edges, but I kind of have been preferring a lighter blush look that looks a little more natural and you can't see where it starts and stops, and this really gives me that. But if I want a little bit more, I'll add like a little bit of the Guava shade, let's say, in the base, put a squeeze of Thrill on, and then blend that all together, and it gives me just a little bit more pigment. But absolutely loving this for summertime. Like, I have been using it nonstop. It looks good with skin tints. Like, really, really love it. The other 2 shades though, so you can get some swatches. This one here is kind of a peachy gold, and it's called Delight. I mean, it's really pretty, but it almost has like a deeper color. I'm telling you, those golden peachy flips for me just don't work as much. So there's that one. And then this other one is also kind of a a peachy color. And these have very different levels of shine. Euphoric is very shimmery, Delight is a little less, and this is kind of in between both of them. As much as these are all here because they're the same formula, I'm really just talking about Thrill, okay? Thrill is the one I suggest, and I believe when I'm posting this, hopefully, fingers crossed, they are having a 25% off sale, so if you were interested, it might be a good time to check that out. Again, so shocked that this ended up so high. I was not expecting it, but you can see how much I've been using it. Like, I can see the squeeze marks, you know? And the number one new blush formula that I've tried is the Rare Beauty, you guys. I was shocked by how much I loved this. This is the matte bouncy blush in the shade Hope, and this is a putty kind of blush, so it is a cream, it's not a powder in here, but this goes on so pretty, and it's like a cream to powder on the cheeks. You can build it up. You can kind of go as sheer as you want or add more and get more intensity. It has a blurred kind of matte look, but there's also a tiny bit of sheen. Again, that kind of perfect healthy satin. So it's not that dry, dusty matte look. I just love it. Super easy to use. I was shocked that I kept reaching for this, and this is the one that I was talking about with the Bobbi Brown. Like, this is the better version of what this could have been, like giving very similar things. And I don't know why they didn't just do this. It would make way more sense too with the Pot Rouges. Like, what were they thinking? What were they thinking on that one? Anyway, absolutely love this. I feel like the hype is so real. The price is pretty dang great. And I feel like Rare Beauty honestly has a lot of blush options. So when the new one was coming out, it was like available for a second, but then not. Like, I don't know. I feel like the launch of this one, I was kind of side-eyeing it. I wasn't going to pick it up, but I'm so glad I did. Really, really love it. And I hope that they do something like the House Labs where they come out with some neutral shade extensions across skin tones. That would be so nice because there aren't a bunch of brown-based neutrals in the lineup at the moment, but I think that could be an amazing shade extension in the future, and that's what I have my fingers crossed for. So love this one. These are, I'm telling you, top 3 blushes right now. If I'm going minimal for you guys, giving you the recommendations, these 3 have really done it for me. Love them, love taking them with me, just great. And then I feel like these 8 are the ones that I've been having fun rotating with. Next, we're moving on to bronzers. I feel like this summer there have been tons of bronzer releases, and again, we have lots of different forms. There's liquid, cream, there's powder, a few powders. And I love bronzers, so I've been having fun testing these, but I definitely have my thoughts on what is a winner and what isn't. And here's a bit of the preview. First, I have 7 bronzers here, and in 7th place is the new one from Makeup by Mario. This is the Soft Sculpt Blurring Bronzer. I have the shade Light here, which I'm not sure if this is the actual lightest shade, if there's an even fairer shade. You know, I think this might be a color thing, maybe just being more tan for summer. I just don't feel like I see this on my skin in the way that I want to. It's a beautifully soft powder. It really is blurring and it feels silky, but there's just something about the way that this goes on that I don't love, especially over some of the other bronzing products from Makeup Forever. I like this stick cream bronzer better than this one. I would recommend that over this. I don't know. It's just not doing it for me. I'm not falling in love like I thought I would. Super smooth though, if that's what you're looking for. I think I would be better off with a different color and maybe would have a different experience, but that being said, it ranks number 7 for me right now. Next, number 6, this is here at the bottom, not because it's a bad product, it's just a very specific product if you like a bronzer drop. These are from Westman Atelier and they're called the Suntone Bronzing Drops. I have the shade Soleil Parfait 1. Oh gosh, see, that's way too much product. I think the tone is really beautiful of this, but again, like, you need a fraction of this product to get the kind of look you might want. If you don't want like a powdery look, you want it to look like a bronze coming from your skin, I do think these give that look on the skin, and that's why they're here. Like, a great formula. If you're into bronzer drops, you could put this just all over your face if you wanted, just in the areas you want. I just find because they're liquid, and on top of that, you squeeze out the drops, like, you just have to be careful, okay? Look at this product. Look how much this is gonna spread, you guys. It really could be a multi-use product for you, you know, or if you tan but your face doesn't, this could maybe come in handy. Again, it dries down, which is something I really love, but I just find that bronzer drops aren't what I'm reaching for all the time, but if you were gonna get some, these are good. They are good. I almost feel like these next 2 are tied, but I guess technically I'm gonna put the Farrah Hamidi one in at number 5. Now, this is a beautiful compact. I really have some nice, like, luxury bronzers in here, and I do think overall that comes out in the formula. Now, this compact is really heavy. It is refillable, so that is a nice touch. And I just have to say, attention to detail. This locks in. I don't know if you can see this. Oh maybe there. This locks in with actual like initials, and I just think, man, you know, if you're gonna be paying like, what is it, $70 or whatever, like a lot of money for a bronzer, at least I feel like that attention to detail is really put in here. Anyway, this is a powder bronzer. It does have a sheen to it. Like, these are all things I'm like, hell yeah. And I feel like the colors on these were a little bit different. You can see here in the swatch, very pretty, very buttery. It blends really nice. The sheen on it is a little stronger than I thought it was gonna be, so it's definitely there. It's not going to like emphasize texture necessarily, but because of the sheen, I almost feel like, again, the way the bronzer hits the light, sometimes it looks like, is that a shadow? Is that good bronzer look or bad bronzer look? Like, I can't tell. I also find like, initially I'm like, is anything going on? But then only 2 seconds later, I'm like, holy shit, I applied so much bronzer. Like, how did that happen? So I am just playing around with this. You can see on my finger here that kind of sheen, also how it kind of deepens up. And I think just a light sweep of this is just beautiful. I wouldn't go in with really more than that, is how I've been feeling about it. I do like the color. It looks so neutral here. On my face, it turns a little bit more red and like kind of looks like that natural sun-kissed flush. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I really thought this was just gonna only be a home run, but it's not bad. I don't wanna make it seem like it's bad at all. But at the same time, it's definitely not a favorite, you know what I mean? At the moment, I can't quite say that. So we'll see if this grows on me, if I kind of figure it out maybe in winter again. And when my coloring's a little different, it'll show up differently. That being said, I kind of tie it with the Dior one. This is huge. Like, it's so massive comparatively. There's a ton of product in here. Now, I've found I've gotten a little bit of hard pan on this one. Color-wise, I mean, absolutely different. Totally different here. This definitely gives me a nice amount of warmth, and sometimes that can go overboard, but also, like, I'm not gonna lie, I like a little warmth from a bronzer, okay? I sometimes am looking for a little bit of that warmth, and I find that this one can give me that, but again, I can't go overboard. It's kind of love-hate because of that color, I'm telling you. Part of me is like, oh, I need that tiny bit of this, and it comes in clutch and it's perfect, and then other times, again, I have to be careful I don't go too orange, and it's given a little too oompa loompa, you know what I mean? I do like the matte finish on it though, and I think that kind of blurred velvetyness of this powder helps to be able to control it a little bit more, so I can actually get the less orange version of this on my skin. But yeah, they kind of tie because they have their issues, but I also like some things about them as well. So this is technically number 4 though, I would say at the moment, just because I've had it a bit longer. In the number 3 place, these are those artist color crayons for Makeup Forever, but these are more the bronzing colors. And I think the bronzer might be my favorite version of these sticks. I don't know, I just feel like the way that the formula comes across, where it's like creamy but not overly creamy, works best as bronzer for me. The first swatch here, this is called Ardent Dune. Then this is Anywhere Caffeine. This is the one I like to put on when I want that kind of like rosy, almost kind of a bronzer look. I think that this one looks really, really pretty. I just really make sure to take my time and blend this one out, but I do think that it's quite beautiful. And then this bronze has a little shimmer, so it could be a highlighter depending, but this one's a little bit more orangey as opposed to rosy. I can kind of make all 3 of these work for me if I want to. I feel like Anywhere Caffeine is the one I like the most, just because it specifically gives me that look. I just feel like these work well, and why they went number 3 instead of being more by the bronzing drops is because I do feel like they get the job done. They look good if you can find a color you like. Like, I like the formula, and with number 4 or 5, I feel like I'm a little bit more wishy-washy on them. So those place number 3. I definitely have other stick cream bronzers that I like more. We are now getting into the top 2, and this is the Sarah Creel bronzer. It's called Just Like Paradise, and I have the shade 01. This is a beautiful little cream bronzer. I was very excited when this launched, and I'm happy to say that I do quite like it. It is a glassy kind of cream, but what I like is this really sheers out, kind of reminds me a bit of the Westman Atelier bronzing drops, but in a formula that I like more because it's in a compact. Now this does leave a little bit of a sheen, and I will say there's something about this that doesn't dry down all the way. So it might not be, if you really want that matte look, this is not going to give it to you, but I still can make it work because I can sheer this out enough, and it also sheers out so beautifully. It doesn't get patchy. It just looks so healthy. It gives me that perfect radiant bronzy touch that I'm looking for. So I've really enjoyed this bronzer. I will say my compact broke, which is kind of disappointing disappointing. This is a luxury brand and I do like the compact, but this thing just broke all the way off, and I mean the other side's gonna break any minute, so I'm kind of disappointed in that. I mean, I definitely have been using it. You can see the wear in there. Even the sides of the pans are starting to show. So again, this was a great buy for me, but I will say my number one, if you're looking for something like this, but you want it to be kind of a cream to powder formula and also a cheaper price, I would suggest the Refi. This isn't new this year, but it is new to me this year, and this is the shade Dune in the cream bronzer. I find these formulas very similar, like a similar effect, but I will say I think I like the Refi just a little bit more because it doesn't quite have that sheen. Again, I can make that work, and I do like that aspect about the CeraCreole, but I feel like the Refi gives enough of that healthy sheen but does dry down more to a powder finish. So I kind of feel like these give the same look but would be best for different skin types. So if you're combo or dry, I would go with the CeraCreole maybe, and if you're more oily, I would go with the Refi. I'm so sorry, it's nasty in there. There's hair. I've already hit a little bit of pan, but I just have really fallen in love with both of these. I kind of was switching off between, but if I had to even just pick one, I think the Refi kind of wins everything of the new bronzers I've been trying, where it really just hits all the boxes, you know, like it really does. It's so good. So that's my ranking for bronzer. We're now on to highlighters. I only have 5 here, so I feel like the preview is a little bit of overkill, but I feel like highlighters are coming back. There have been a lot more released this year than I feel like in past years, so we're seeing them come back, which kind of has me excited, but at the same time, I've kind of talked about this, but highlighter doesn't have as big of a place in my routine as it used to, and you know, things change with time, and I definitely like to switch things up, so I could see highlighter returning in a more prominent way in the future, but I'm just letting you know kind of where my head's at the moment. So let's get into the ranking. Coming in at number 5 is the Benefit Glow La La. This is a powder highlight. I have it in the shade Rhea, and this is really beautiful, but think cookie highlighter, okay? Just in terms of like how metallic this go. Oh, let's get in focus, y'all. Let's get in focus. Like, you can sheer this out really pretty, but this does give something that's a little bit more on the metallic side. So just a strong highlighter, okay? I don't dislike it necessarily though. I just think that makes it more specific than maybe some of the other ones here. And I have to use like a small amount, a light hand, just so that I can get something that isn't too metallic on my cheeks. I like how thin this formula is though, and I know that we would have loved this in 2016. To me, it's kind of like the same shine that Cookie gives, but in like an updated, thinner formula. It's not powdery, which is one of the things I like about it. Coming in at number 4, I did end up picking up the Prada highlighter. I got the shade number 2, and this is more of a powdery highlight. That's the reason it's ranking so low. It's more subtle, which I think is really pretty. I like the way that that looks, but I do find because it's more of a powder, it can look just a little heavier on my cheeks, but it's still really pretty. Just have to kind of buff it out a little bit more, and it gives more of like a glow than a straight up like metallic shine. I actually don't dislike any of the highlighters. I think they're all quite pretty. It's more that I just don't wear them as often as I used to. Okay, CeraCreole goes at number 3. I was so excited for this because I love the bronzer so much, and honestly, this is a beautiful highlight. Okay, it's like a balm highlighter. If you have combo skin, dry skin, and you are down with like a balm, I do think this is so pretty. It gives you almost like a candlelight glow, candlelit glow, like just like your skin looks healthy. That being said, because it's more like a balm, it's kind of like the bronzer where it doesn't quite all the way dry down, and because highlighter tends to be one of the last steps I do, and I am gonna set with a powder, and I might use a powder blush, and I might even use a powder bronzer, like tapping this balm on top of that, I have to do the tiniest amount so I don't move product underneath, and also so I don't have too much actual balm on my cheeks. So it just feels like one of those things that's stunning, beautiful. I want so badly to be my everyday, but because of my oily skin and also just the redness I have, I'm not usually going completely like bare face. I do like to have a little bit more coverage on. It's not quite perfect for me, but I can't deny it's a stunning formula. Like, it's really stunning. I think it would work so well for so many people. I would love to use this on other people. So yeah, that's why it gets number 3. Coming in at number 2, and I would say this one and number 1 are the ones I've been reaching for sure the most. Like, I keep coming back to these highlighters, and this one's from NARS. I find this one just a little less metallic in a way than the Benefit one, but I do feel like in some ways they are very similar. I have the shade Arrows. I'm not sure if this is at Sephora yet, but I ended up getting mine at Ulta because they weren't on the Sephora site. It's a little bit of an icy shade. I was going back between this one and the second lightest, but opted for this. So pretty. I like to use a very light hand with this. I feel like it's looking so much more shiny and metallic right here than it does on my cheeks. It's less of this like metallic look actually on my cheeks, and with a brush I can get more of like a delicate application, especially because the more it layers, the more it's going to give you like a tinny look. But I do think, again, it's really pretty. These are definitely some intense highlighters, but beautiful. The one though that I have used the most, and I was kind of regretting this one, but I have really enjoyed the Dior one, and I feel like it's a good mix of like these two. You know, it's a little bit more on the powdery side, but it gives more of a sheen like this than less of a sheen. So I've kind of come around to this one, even though I was kind of like, oh, should I not have gotten it? But it's my favorite highlighter I bought this year. This is the shade Gold Halo, and ooh, so pretty. Again, it is truly like the perfect mix of a powder, but it's still thin and doesn't look overly metallic, but can get you something really intense. So you can kind of like work it how you want to. Just so beautiful, and definitely ranks number 1 for me. If you're wanting a good go-to everyday highlighter, this is the one I would suggest. So there's the highlighter ranking. Honestly, I think that all of these are good just like for the right people, and just in general, know if you're into highlighter or not, you know? And I'm pleasantly surprised that this one really came around for me. I have a few other things this year that I was kind of worried, is this gonna be a regret? But with time, I'm actually so glad I got them, and I've been using them so much. They've become like staples for me, and that's one of the reasons I'm glad to do this kind of mid-year update with products I've really been testing like throughout the year. I've really gotten some good time to test things and see how they work into my real life. We're moving on to powder eyeshadow, and I didn't know how I wanted to break this up, but I have basically just all my powder eyeshadows. I have a single here, bigger palettes, I have my smaller palettes, and then off camera I also do have some Oden's eye palettes. And honestly, this feels kind of shockingly low, but also I feel like truly what has been happening in my life, okay? I love eyeshadow, I still love eyeshadow, but I have been keeping it a little more basic. So out of the 15 palettes here, and also those Oden's eye one, I'm gonna rank them and let you guys kind of know what I've been using, what I've been loving, what I think's worth it. All right, taking up number 15 through 11, these are all the Oden's eye palettes, and really that's not because of like a review. These aren't bad palettes, they're just so colorful. Let me show you what's in here. I have the newest season palette. There's autumn, winter, this one is summer, and this other one is spring. Now, if you're into color, these are beautiful, don't get me wrong. I do like the Oden's eye formula. And then this one here is Morgan Turner's palette, and this was her collab, which is more like purples and pinks. So if you love color or bigger palettes, then I think you would love these. I thought I would just swatch everything more than anything. I thought that could be helpful. I'm gonna start with the spring palette. First shade we have here is called Blooming, and this is a sparkly shade. It's more of like a tie-dye shade as well, but super duper sparkly. Then there's Awakening, which is like a matte pinky peach. Next is Bright. This is a purple with like a golden flip, and this one's more of a metallic, not nearly as sparkly as Blooming. And then last for the top row, this is a baby blue, and this one's called Rejuvenating. That one's a super bright baby blue, lots of white in there, so it's gonna pop. Next we have Fragrant, which is a hot pink. These are gonna stain. I know I'm gonna get stained. Then we have Growing, which is a blue with an icy shimmer on top. Not a ton of base pigment on that one. Then there's Flavor, which is almost like an orchid purple. This one's pressed a little harder than the others. Next we have Anabiosis, I believe. This has like a red pink base with a kind of almost holographic shimmer. I see orange, I see green, I see gold, I see red, so lots of colors on that one. Then Joyous is a dusty pink. Springtime's beautiful. It's like a copper with a confetti sparkle, and when I say confetti sparkle, it means like almost a rainbow sparkle to it. So there's a little bit of blue, a little purple, a little pink, but all atop that kind of copper base. Really love that shade. And then last row, this purple is called Little Flower. Oh my gosh, wow. It is like a straight up purple crayon. Then we have Tranquility, which is like a plummy purple with blue and purple kind of flecks, shimmery flecks to it, really pretty. Then Daydream is a kind of dusty plum, like it has some gray in it almost. And then last here, this one is called Fairy Garden. That one's a little bit on the thicker side, but super sparkly, and it also has that kind of like confetti silver sparkle to it. So that is Springtime. Definitely super colorful. I mean, like the only thing in here that I'm wanting to wear really is the Springtime shade, and maybe this as like a pop on the inner corner one time out of the whole month. So really for me, it's just like a preference color story thing. I'm not into as much color at the moment, which is hard, but if I'm being real with myself, it's true. And that's why these aren't getting any use. Moving on to Summertime, this one is a lot more blue, but it has some pops of warmth in it as well. Starting off with Youth. This is another one of those kind of marbled shades. Really pretty, really icy. There's not a ton of blue that really comes out. It's more of a sparkly silver shade. Then we have Cloudless. This is a kind of like teal turquoise kind of blue matte shade. Then there's Tender. This one's pretty creamy. It almost feels like a cream, and it almost gives like a foiled look. Oh my gosh, okay. Super intense on that one. Oh my gosh, okay. Then we have the shade Vita. Now Vita's looking like my kind of color right now, okay? It's like a warm, almost like saddle brown to me. Next, we have the shade Fresh, which is looking honestly so similar to that Springtime palette. And with these larger palettes, I wish that they had done smaller, like 6 pans or something for the seasons. I think that would have been a little more condensed. There wouldn't be as much potential repeat, you know what I'm saying? This shade though is called Heat. It's almost like a periwinkle kind of blue. Then this is Journey, which is like a gray blue, a matte shade. And then another kind of creamy one, you can see it there. And that's kind of like a peach, but it almost has like a slight gray base on it. So a peachy golden pink, but still almost kind of like flaky shade. I don't know if I love those. Next, Voyage. This looks like a Halloween color. Like this looks like it should be in the autumn palette. It has a black base and then a lot of sparkle, but the base is not opaque. So it's really just a lot of sparkle. I think that would work best as like a topper and a dark eye look. Then there's Fresh Air, a really beautiful gray, super soft and matte. Then there's Festival. This is like a blackened green with some different like fine sparkle in it. Then there's like a powder blue in this Picnic shade, like a sky blue, and that one's matte. Then there's Ice Cream, which is this brown. I don't know why that one's called Ice Cream. Then there's Seaside, which is a blue shimmer, very pretty, very sparkly. Then there's a matte green. This one is called Humidity. Oh my gosh, I got a little everywhere. But that's like almost like a hunter green. And then last here, this is called Summertime. This one is really pretty. This is one of my favorite shades. This one's like multi-chrome. There's like purple, like a greeny teal, a blue shade, really pretty over like a blackened base. So that is the summer palette. We're next on to autumn, and in here we're getting something a little bit more green. There's some like sagey greens, lots of different greens. So this is Crisp. Same kind of like almost cream formula, really pretty. With these, you can kind of build them up as much as you want or kind of shear them out as much as you want. Then there's Falling Leaves, which is a yellow. My arm's a little wet, so forgive me. Almost like that dandelion yellow color, you know, the Crayola crayon. Then we have Harvest, a kind of grass green with a golden sheen to it, very sparkly. And then Equinox is a, I don't even know, what are we calling this color? It's kind of like a pea soup kind of green. Pretty, I like that color. It's more of like a pastel. This is called Susurrus? I don't really know that. But this is like a dusty gray green. Then this is Cozy. This one's pressed a little bit harder. More of like that cream formula though. Very sparkly, really love that shade. Like there are colors within these palettes that I think as singles would be amazing, but just for how big these are and how much colors in them, again, it's just not really where my makeup journey is at currently. But this is Flannel, that's looking like a grungy green. This one here, Scenic, is like a red based color, lots of warmth, but then it has like a green gold shimmer on top. Very pretty, very fall on that one. Then this one's Change, and it's kind of a teal green, or I don't know, like a pastel green. It has like an ethereal sparkle, blue, purple, green, maybe some silver as well. Really pretty, love that shade. Then we have Temperate, which is like a coral, kind of gives a pop in here. That's a matte. Transcend is next. This one is, oh my gosh, like a blackened green. Very deep, very pretty, very bold, very bold. Then we have Evolve, which is almost like a sagey green. I would call this a sage green. Revamp is definitely a dark, dark matte green. It has like a blue to it, so it's giving like a jungle green. Last three, this is called Autumn, and it's a golden shimmery color with like an iridescence to it. Then there's Windy, which is like a purpley taupe. And last, Spiced Tea, which is like a purple with a silver sparkle on top. So that's the autumn palette swatched out. And on to the last season palette. I think this is the last one I'm gonna like fully swatch. I haven't talked about these on the channel yet, and I really wanted to at least get some swatches since they're the newest release from Oden's Eye. But the first shade here is called Cool. Another one of those kind of creams, and this one is more of like an iridescent, maybe a multi-chrome, duochrome. I see some pink, I see some orange, some gold, but kind of on a translucent base. This next color is called Frost, which is yellow. I don't understand the names really. Like, I don't know if they really coordinate to what's going on, but this is almost like a butter meets cantaloupe yellow. I don't know, that's what I'm thinking on it. Then we have Festive, which is another purple. I just feel like I've seen this color in the other palettes. Then there's like a dusty lavender color. That's a matte shade, and it's called Snowman. Then this is Scarf. I really love this color. This is like a rosy taupe. Those are shades I love to use. Then this one is called Icy, which is like a golden silver, more of that flaky, almost creamy kind of shade. Then another matte purple. This one is called Snowy, and it looks a little like that orchid purple that we've seen, maybe a little less warm though, a little less pink. This next one here is called Icicles. It's a beautiful like coppery golden shade, more on that creamy side, a little thicker. You could get like full opacity on that. Then this one's called Blanket. It's kind of like a purple fuchsia with some shimmer. Wood Stove feels almost like a wisteria kind of purple. I don't know if that's true, but it's like a cooler purple. Okay, this is the one shade I want in a single. I'm like, give me this as a single. Okay. It almost has a little bit of a green yellow base to it, but it has that cool confetti sparkle rainbow shimmer on top. Very pretty. That one's called Cashmere. Then this next one's called Wool, which kind of looks like a blue, green, gray color. This red is called Solstice. It's kind of like a burgundy shade. Then this one is called Lazy. I don't know if that's for winter or why that's called Lazy, but it's like a black based, I don't know, multi-chrome sparkle shade. It's quite pretty, but I don't wear those like darkened black base shades nearly as much as some of the more like iridescent kind of colors, lighter bases. But then we have End of Year, a really dark blue. And then the last shade here is called Wintertime, and it's like a black based purple kind of color with some warmth though on the edges, a little bit thicker on that shade. And that's the winter palette swatched out. I hope the swatches were helpful if these are things you're looking at. Like I said, these just aren't really the palettes for me. That's why they're ranking so low. I'm not wearing these types of shades. I also think they're quite big palettes, and although there are different shades in each of them, because there's so many in each palette, I really do feel like smaller palettes could have been more condensed and differentiated color stories, because even within these, like as much as these next to each other, you can see the differences. You know, even seeing them here, they aren't nearly as like individual as you think, because there's so many blues in other palettes and purples in other palettes and all of that. So these rank at the bottom, but above those I put Morgan's palette. This is her collab, and again, congratulations to her. I'm glad she got to do a love theme palette, and I do think that out of all of the color stories, this is the one I like the most as well. Like there's some really pretty lavenders, some pretty pinks, but again, just know if you're into color, and I do have a code with Oden's Eye still, so if you are still into all that color, into the indie palettes, you can use that to save some money. That is affiliated. But now on to number 10. This is the Natasha Denona Bloom palette. This came out earlier this year for like springtime, I want to say. And this thing is beautiful, don't get me wrong. It's like a corally peach kind of palette. I really like the Equinox shade in here because it has that like warm base on it, but then again, that kind of like purpley cool tone sparkle. I just love these kinds of shades, and this one doesn't have too much base, which I really like. I just find that I don't wear the peaches as much, and there are so many other Natasha Denona midi palettes that I enjoy. I love I Don't Need a Nude. I love I Don't Need a Warm. I just prefer those palettes, and I feel like I could get something at least a little bit similar to this if I really wanted to, whereas this palette really just offers you like warm tones, okay? Like warm peachy colors, all of that. It's not quite the color story for me, but I do like the formula. Next at number 11, this is the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Nearly Natural palette. They did redo this palette. I have the original, but I still do like the new one. As much as it's a bit of a bigger palette for me, it has some really nice sparkles in here. I love that, but it also has some matte shades and enough neutrals to satisfy me, you know? But if I want to go out on a limb and do something with a green, there's something like Exposed in here. I still feel like this color story offers a lot. Like as much as it's a lot of shades, you're also getting tons of variety, and you could create so many different looks truly with this palette, but also have your go-to everyday shades as well. So that one ranks number 9 for me. I also do have a code Glaminatrix if you guys are interested, and that is affiliated as well. Coming in at number 8, this is the newest palette from Alter Ego, and it's called Amber Glow. This is a neutral palette. I believe it's a dupe of the Natasha Denona Golden palette. Yeah, definitely the Golden palette. And if you're looking for like more affordable dupes of Natasha Denona palettes, I do think they do a good job on their shadows. They've come out with so many dupes throughout the years. I've really been enjoying Sundrop. It's a cream formulation, a peachy creamy kind of shade, and it has the tiniest bit of a sheen to it. And I'll use that to kind of give my eye a nice like clean base, or sometimes I'll use it alone, and I do quite like that look too if I want like a fresh looking eyelid. So I've just enjoyed this, but I also enjoy the Natasha Denona Golden palette. And again, this is like duping all those colors. I do have a code with Alter Ego as well, so you could check that out if you're looking for some dupes. I feel like they have some good quality shadows. But really all those big palettes are at the bottom because of just the size, and you'll see that going forward, everything else is pretty compact, and that has been what I've been preferring. But next here, this is the Danessa Myricks Pastel Dream. It has 6 shades in here, 3 mattes, 3 shimmers, and this was one I didn't pick up initially when it dropped, and it sold out, and then it was on my mind and I just had to get it. So I was able to find this in store at a location when I was traveling, so that worked out for me. But this is what I really love about the palette, right, for every day. Like I think these two look great together, really stunning. But then there are some fun, more colorful shades in here as well. There's a pastel kind of purpley shade, and there's also kind of a minty green teal kind of shade, almost giving Tiffany blue, and then corresponding shimmers that can go with it. Now, this palette is ranked low because obviously the color, okay? This is one of those things that like, as someone who loves makeup, like I'm happy to have this. I love supporting Danessa Myricks launches, and I don't know, my little collector heart couldn't be without it. That being said, am I gonna get the most use out of this? No, but at least it's small. I still have some neutrals in here as well that I can use every day. That is definitely why it is ranking this low. Love this purple shade though. The base is purple, but then it has like green, gold. I even see a little orange in it, like so pretty. It reminds me of a Shine by SD shadow that I used to love. Anyway, is it a must-have? I don't think so, but also as like a makeup collector and someone who is definitely getting makeup, like, I don't know, I just felt like I needed it. So that ranks number 7, I believe. Oh my gosh, the numbers, I hope they're not getting off. Coming in at number 6, this is one of the trios that came out for spring from Chantecaille. This one I bought, but the other one they did send me. Now this is the Diana trio, and I think this one's beautiful. It also has a neutral, but then some more fun shades in here. I really love this brown, just has a nice sheen. I just think the formula is beautiful, but the color is what kind of ranks this one a little bit lower. As much as these are really pretty, and I do quite like this iridescent shade, it might not be as shimmery or as impactful as other indie brands, but I kind of like the subtlety of it if you want to do something fun, but again, not too much. But I don't necessarily love the pink shade as much as the other two, and so for that reason, I don't feel like I reach for it, especially as much as the more neutral trio, but still happy to have this one for sure. They just have beautiful eyeshadow formulas, and specifically these are more those baked ones, not the pressed ones that we've been seeing in some of the duos for holiday, and also that cheetah trio that came out. Next, the only single I have in here, this is from REM Beauty, and this is the shade Fembot. It is a powder shadow, and I'm so glad they came out with this because they do have Fembot in the liquid shadow, and I do have that, but I would prefer a powder, and this thing is more intense than I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to get something a little bit more like the Moon Dust, and although this is that sparkly, and you can kind of sheer it out if you want a little less of the base, you can get a pretty full-on full pigment base. It can definitely go more intense and be a nice like going out shade, but again, I think you can kind of sheer it out and do something day. So I just love a little potted shadow, you know, like picking the one shade you're actually going to use and love and enjoy, and I think this is a good option if you want that kind of red brown, blue brown kind of look. I mean, there are a lot of shadows out there like this, so it's not necessarily the most unique, but I do think it's a good version of this kind of color. Coming in at number 4 is one of my Prada quads. I do have another one, but this one is in 4th place. This is the number 8. I think it's called Pansy quad. I'll get us zoomed in a little bit more, but this, I just really have enjoyed the Prada quads in general. This top 4 is really special. I'm very happy with these eyeshadow palettes, and they're things I just keep using over and over again. My favorite shade is this one. It's kind of like a red based duochrome. It's more green leaning than blue though. Just really, really pretty and gives that pop of fun, something a little more sultry. This quad I use a little bit more for like going out or like a more made up eyeshadow look at least. That slightly deeper quality about this is why this is ranked number 2 out of the Prada quads I have instead of number 1, but beautiful nonetheless. Definitely don't regret it. Really happy with that. And I just have to say, I also really do love the Prada formula. There's something about it that feels like this in between of a cream and a powder. It's not quite like a baked formula. It's not dry, but it's not like a cream. Actually, I just think it looks so good on the lids as well. The kind of subtle sheen they have, it just looks very luxe. They're easy to blend, easy to use, but give you such a beautiful finished look. So just formula wise, I've been really, really impressed with the Prada quads, especially for that price. They are for sure expensive, but if you like a luxury eyeshadow, I think these are some of the best I've used. Top 3, baby. Okay, we have the other trio from Chantecaille. This is the Nymph trio, and as you can see here, this one is a lot more neutral. I'll put the other one next to it so you can see, and that's why this one just wins. There is a purple, so they're still fun, but it's a little more of like a muted purple. I really love this trio. 2 of them are more of those like satiny, kind of almost metallic looking, and then we have one really fun sparkly shade, which I love using as a topper over this. I will use this alone, I will use this alone, or I like topping them together and they look so good. The purple's absolutely stunning, like just one of the standout eyeshadow pieces that have come into my collection this year. Y'all are not gonna believe that this is number 2, but this is number 2. If I'm being real with you, I thought this was like a mistake purchase. I was like, oh my gosh. And you know, if I judged a book by its cover, I would not have gotten it, but I'm glad I pushed past that because I have really enjoyed this palette. For 9 shades, it's very compact, which I really like. There are some shimmer shades in here that give that kind of wet shine sparkle. I love this kind of silvery white one. It works with anything. If I just want to add a little sparkle on something, I'll reach into this and add it. Everything else besides these 3 shimmers is matte. I'll swatch those together, I guess. This one's more of like a bronzy look. I don't use that one nearly as much. This one I really like for a sparkly, more intense look, but you can kind of wear it in the daytime, wear it in the nighttime, however you kind of want to dress it up. But all those shimmers I think are stunning and great. This shade here, okay, this matte shade has been my perfect shade. And you can see here with the mattes, these are the type of mattes that really stick in place where you put them, okay? I honestly don't think these will be great to like blend into the crease and really get the most like soft diffused blend. These are gonna add definition. So that's how I use them, and I love this shade specifically for under my lash line with a pencil brush. I have been loving that definition. I've been using it so much, like almost every single day. I have a little hole going in the center of that palette. I've also been using some of the deeper shades to smoke out my top lash line when I want to. This one's great for a little wing. I don't use this gray as much, but in general, it's been such a useful palette, and this shade alone alone I've had so much use out of, and I just love it. I think it's so user-friendly. It's doing what it needs to do for me. So I've really enjoyed it. I don't think you need this palette, you know, to get a nice under eye shadow, but this is the one I've been enjoying and using, and I'm really glad I have it. I've been using it ever since I got it, every day. And number one, you guys, is the other product quad. I love this thing so much. I'm so glad I picked it up, and I kind of knew that when I got it, but let me just confirm it with this video. I mean, I almost am gonna hit pan in this color alone. They do sell refills, and oh my gosh, I might need one at some point. I kind of judged myself a little bit for wanting this, and you know, looking at it, it looks so boring. It's so light as well. Like, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, but I am obsessed specifically with this shade all over the lid. A lot of the times I'll put like a cream shadow stick down and then put this on top, but just the way the sheen is on it is so healthy, so beautiful. It just adds something to the lids, a little definition, but not too much. I just love it. Like, that shade alone makes the palette worth it to me, which I know sounds kind of crazy, but it's true. I do like the other shades. Maybe the duochrome is my least favorite, but I think all of it's very, very wearable. If you like simple eye looks, I mean, these two shades are perfect. Something a little more peachy and warm, something a little more brown tone, but still kind of warm. Just stunning, okay? I love number 7. I believe this is called Petal, maybe? Pansy, Petal, and something else. If you're a one and done girl, have a similar skin tone to me, similar style, preference, all that, I'm telling you, this is so good. Love it. Top palette for sure. And those are all the powder eyeshadows, guys. I'm shocked that it's only this much, but I'm telling you, I've really found some nice staples in these smaller palettes for sure. I'm really loving those. Next, we still have eyeshadows, but these are cream and liquid eyeshadows. I'm a big fan of a shadow stick, so I've tried out some new formulas this year, and I definitely have some favorites. So I have 8 different formulas here, and I'm just gonna start at the bottom. At number 8, at the bottom, are these Urban Decay liquid shadows. I was so excited for these because I do love the moon dust shadows, and these are definitely sparkly. These are called the glazed liquid eyeshadows, and I have 5 of the colors here. These were sent to me. They're a little different though. You like shake them up because they're very liquidy. They have a brush tip. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? They have a brush tip on them, so it makes them so you're supposed to be able to just put them straight on your eye, which you can for sure do, but I just find that these don't have quite as much impact. I mean, they look so stunning right here. I'm showing you this. You're like, what are you talking about, girl? That's so pretty. I know. You can make them work, don't get me wrong. I just say go with the powder shadows personally. This one's called Space Cowboy. The other one was Sugar Twist or something. They go on slightly patchy, which they are kind of a sheer wet look, so it's not the biggest deal, but that can become an issue depending on the color, so keep that in mind. And also, I find that these are in a liquid matrix that feels to be made up of, I don't know, something that evaporates, and then what's left is the powdery, beautiful shimmer, but it's not like stuck on. I'm telling you, it's like the matrix just dries up, and then you're left with like almost a powder shadow on top of that. It's not like locked down or locked in, and I don't love that about it. So I don't know, they just don't quite work for me. I love that they did something different. I love the custom component. I'm telling you, I was hopeful, but I would just stick with a powder shadow that can give you these kinds of looks, and I think it's gonna be just as good. I'm also worried these are gonna dry out, so these are on the bottom of the list for me, number 8. Next at number 7 is this Too Faced shadow stick. This is the Quickie Queen cream eyeshadow stick, and I have the shade Twinkle. This is a super sparkly shade. It almost looks like a silver and a gold put together. Like, sometimes it looks a little warm, sometimes it looks a little cool. I think the color is really unique, and I do like the shadow all over the lids. I will just put this on sometimes and just spread it out, but the issue that I've noticed with this, like, look how pretty that shine is. So beautiful. But I have noticed that the sparkle on this as it dries down throughout the day really falls on my face. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not even someone who's that big of a stickler for fallout. Like, I wear sparkly shades. Sometimes it just comes with the territory, but I find with this one specifically, like, I have so much fallout, so that's why it's ranked so low. Otherwise, I do think it's beautiful, and these do dry down. Like, once they dry, they lock in place, and that's part of why I was kind of shocked to see so much fallout, because, you know, it locks down, but I have had some issues with that, so that's why this is number 7. Next, for number 6, this is from REM Beauty, and it is one of the liquid matte shadows. This is in the shade NVM, never mind. A beautiful matte liquid shadow. Now this is more of a liquidy liquid shadow than like a creamier one, but I do find it blends out really nice on the lids. A little goes a long way though, okay? Like you need a tiny dot and you can really blend it out what feels like for days. And that is the way I prefer to do it, is really get that blended out look, and it almost looks like a wash of color. It thins out, it's really pretty. I don't have a ton of matte liquid shadows to compare it to, so keep that in mind, but I have enjoyed it. You know, I'm always skeptical of a liquid shadow, but this one is pretty nice. Just use a little bit. And the reason this is at number 6 is because I have other matte cream shadows that kind of give me this look in a cream instead of a liquid, and I do prefer that, but this one's still really beautiful. Coming in at number 4, I have the Half Magic shadow sticks. These are the sparkle sticks, and these are very, very shimmery. I think these are stunning. They're very Half Magic, and if you're looking for sparkle, I think this is a nice formula in a shadow stick to do something kind of fun. This is Champagne Snowflake. This one's Beige Mystique. Very beautiful. This is Phobot, which is like a silver tone color, really pretty. And then last here, this one is called Princess Teddy. So those are the 4 that I have. Again, super sparkly and beautiful. These 2 are really like my everyday shades, but I will say I have been preferring a matte shadow stick. I've been preferring a satin or even something not necessarily this sparkly. I'm telling you, these have some high sparkle to them. They do dry down. And although again, super pretty, I've just been preferring and gravitating to some other finishes. And with how I use shadow sticks, usually these are the base of my eyeshadow look. So I'll put this on and then I'll top with like a one and done type of shadow, maybe 2 other shades, and call it a day. But with these sparkly ones, I like to let these be the only thing I'm using. I'm not like putting other shadows necessarily on top of it, just so all the sparkle can be visible. And so with my preferences, I've just been using these less. So I put these at number 5. Really, these next 4 are the tops in this category for me. Number 4, this one's from NARS. It's the Total Seduction eyeshadow stick, and I got the shade Don't Touch, which is a beautiful matte color. I love this type of like almost rosy taupe, and this blends out so beautifully. I love it on its own. It almost gives you like a bronzer on the lid kind of look, and if I want to use it alone, I can. If I want to put bronzer actually on top of it, I will. And then of course with eyeshadow, I could top anything on top of it, and this does lock down. It has some good staying power throughout the day, so I love that one. For a drugstore option, this one I just happened to pick up, and I love this color too. You're gonna see a theme, okay? You don't need all of them, but do I love these all? Yes, I do. This one is from L'Oreal. It's the Le Shadow Stick, and I have the shade Alluring Rose, but again, it's more of like a taupey rose. This one is almost wet to the touch. Like when you put it on your eye, it feels a little wet, and it's also a little bit thicker, like it dries down faster. You can see how similar these 2 shades are. The NARS one is definitely a bit thinner. This one, again, it thickens up a little fast, so I do one eye, blend it out, then do the other eye. And this one has a little bit of a sheen to it, but I kind of love that. It's just a beautiful everyday kind of color, again, giving you that wash on the lid. Something akin to a bronzer, and it makes a really good base, so I've been loving that one. Number 2 are the shadow sticks from Urban Decay, but there's a caveat. I only really love the matte shades. The number 1 color I use is this peachy one, which I didn't think I'd like because, as you guys saw, the Bloom palette from Natasha Denona, like any of those warmer shades, I've not been gravitating to, so I wondered if this was going to be too warm, but again, makes a perfect base. These lock down, dry down, and I've had some really good wear time with them, so I really like the shade Exposed. I've also worn the shade Blurred Out quite a bit. Now, it could be like a cream shade on some people. For me, it's slightly taupe. Like it has a little bit of a shadow on my skin, but not a ton. It works just as a nice base. So I love those 2 specifically for me. There's also this really warm chocolate brown. That one's called Senescent. So I really like the matte ones. The shimmer ones, again, are they the worst? No, but I just feel like as you blend them out, the shimmer particles kind of, you know, are a little bit patchy. I just don't love them. And I was really expecting to love this kind of taupey bronze shade called Private Album, but I just don't love the way they blend out. I prefer so many other shimmery shadow sticks in my collection, so I definitely say go with the matte ones, specifically, again, these 2. And these matte ones are what place number 2. The shimmers, honestly, probably go by that Too Faced one. And for my top shadow stick pick, these are the Ilia shadow sticks that came out this year. I have 4 of the colors, and I just really love them. I have all shimmery shades. I know they do have some mattes, but I have not tried them. These remind me of the Hourglass ones, and these have have a sheen to them, but they don't have any sparkle necessarily. And I've really been enjoying that with the looks that I like to create, because I do like doing a satin or adding a matte, or I can always add my own sparkle on top. This first one I swatched there, this one is called Opulent. That's one of my favorites. It's a beautiful kind of champagne. Then this one here is called Beam, another kind of champagne. This one's a little bit more peach though, whereas the Opulent shade has a coolness to it. But they're very similar, okay? I'm not gonna lie. They're very similar. Then we have Venetian. This one looks like it's gonna be more similar, but this one does have a little more shimmer in it. It's a little more bronzy in the base. Beautiful still. Probably my third favorite out of everything. And then last here, this one's called Adorn. And this one's the darkest shade that I have. Really pretty though for a nice bronze eyelid. So, so pretty. I just think these look stunning on the eyes. These don't lock down in place in the same way like the Urban Decay ones do. Again, they really remind me of the Hourglass formula of shadow sticks, which I really like. So if you really don't want creasing on your lids and you're prone to that, these might crease on you, but they still last a long time. And I think the sheen they give is just stunning. Absolutely love them. Like, I can't stop using them. I wouldn't be surprised if I use one of these up this year. And that's the overview of my cream shadows. I feel like I've really been spoiled this year because there are some good ones. Let's do a quick ranking of the mascaras that I've tried this year. I am just so stuck. I can't lie. I'm so stuck on my Come Hell or High Water, and I am comparing all of the tubing mascaras that are in here to that, so keep it in mind. I think this is how I want to rank them, but I'm going to start with the worst, number 5 out of 5. This is the Ribbon Wrapped Lash from Too Faced. Again, it is a tubing mascara, and it has this kind of spiky wand at the end. It's very black. It goes on kind of thick. My biggest issue is that it can get a little clumpy, but again, we all have different preferences when it comes to lashes, so that might be something you're into. I could not get this off in the tubes that I am used to when it comes to tubing mascara. It would just kind of smear and smudge and wasn't like a clean release at all. So this really didn't work as a tubing mascara to me. I mean, I didn't get any smudging, so that was good, but it didn't work as a tubing mascara, so that was a fail. The rest are definitely not horrible, so you know, these might work for you. I'm just being pretty picky, you guys. Like, if you can't tell with this, like, I am very honed in on what I like right now. This is the waterproof tubing mascara from Sochi. They did send this to me, which I was really excited to try. I really want to try the new blushes from them, but like the name said, it's a tubing mascara and it does work. Like, everything comes off, all that. I just find with this that my lashes get kind of long and spidery in a way. Like, it does add some length, which I like, but it can just be kind of thin on the edges, and that's just not my preferred look when it comes to a tubing mascara. And I also have a favorite already when it comes to tubing mascara, so I am judging all of these off of that, and I would still prefer the Cali Ray, so that's why this is number 4. Next, this one from Kulfi. This is another tubing mascara in the shade Black, and it has a very similar wand to the Too Faced one, like that spiky edge, which I have to say, I definitely poke my eyes with it. I don't know what it is, but it's been hard to get used to this style wand for me. I just usually stab myself in the eye, so that kind of sucks with that shape of a wand, but this one's just solid. Like, I just can't count on my lashes being the same every single time, so sometimes I'll get a nice fluffy lash that I like, and then other times I'm like, oh, it's kind of clumpy. I'm getting like the dingleberries on the lashes, you know what I mean? So yeah, don't hate it, but I don't love it. My camera's like giving up on focusing, but I'm definitely still trying out this Chantecaille mascara, but I love the way my lashes looked with this, let me tell you. It's not a tubing mascara, and the wand looks just like a basic wand, but I really felt like my lashes looked fluffy and just like, I don't know, full and long, but not like I had a ton of mascara necessarily on my lashes, just like it was coating a really nice set of lashes, you know, like natural lashes. So really love this. It's nice and black, and I really had minimal smudging with it, which was great. I'm so used to the tubing mascara from Cali Ray, as you guys know, because I keep freaking saying it, and so my tolerance for smudging is pretty low, and so I'm happy that's not a big issue with this one. Now, my number 1 new mascara that I've been trying, this one's the Prada one, and I have really quite enjoyed it. It's not tubing. I would have loved that, and the wand is so unique on it. It's like a brush on one side, nothing on the other. I really love the way this combs through my lashes. I love the finished lash look. Again, I prefer something that's kind of fluffy and kind kind of natural, a little wispy. I mean, I want that volume, I want that length, but I don't want it to be overly clumpy or like multiple lashes sticking together to create one big like Liberty spike on my eyes. It's just not my vibe personally. And I felt like this one did a great job at creating that. Now, I do get the tiniest bit of smudging, which I'm not always setting my under eye a ton. And like, I am very hands off with my makeup when I'm actually wearing it. Like, I'm just not a touch-up girl, and I can get the tiniest bit of smudging. Again, with this one, I have to just keep that in mind. And so at the end of the day, none of these overtook my Cali Ray, if I'm being real. Like, that's the one I depend on, but it's been fun testing a few new ones out, seeing if I can maybe find some. Let me know your favorite mascaras down below. I promise I'm trying to recommend something else to you guys, but I just can't. Let's get the kind of skin tints, foundations, sunscreens out of the way. Let's do it. All right, here it is all nicely laid out. I have a few different categories here when it comes to the ranking, so I'm gonna break this up. Since this is like the only thing in its product category, the Kosas brightener, this is called the Revealer Extra Bright Serum Powered Color Corrector. I have the shade Magic, which is this pink, and if you're really looking for something super brightening, this one's pretty pigmented and will definitely give you a bright under eye. I've actually been really limiting what I'm putting under my eyes. Some days I'm not even doing any concealer, I'm just using color corrector, but I don't need something this pink, this full coverage as a color corrector personally, so I find it actually a little intense for me, and the more minimal under eye that I've been enjoying. I just find that sometimes the more product I put under my eyes, the worse actually everything looks. The trade-off for like fuller coverage isn't there for me, so I wasn't a big fan, but I do feel like if you were looking for a really bright under eye creamy corrector and you're a fan of the Kosas concealer, I do think it could be something to look into for you. Let's talk about a few sunscreens. I only have 3 that aren't tinted, so I'm gonna keep these together, and the other SPFs I'm gonna put with the actual skin tint since they technically have a tint. I'm very picky when it comes to sunscreen, and technically all of these do not look good with any makeup over them for me, like long term, so there's that. But if I'm just using these on my face, the one I'm gonna go to for sure is the Youth to the People. I think this is still an incredible sunscreen, and even though I can't put makeup on top of it, I do really love the way that it goes on my skin. This is SPF 60. It's in a squeeze tube, which I think is just really easy to apply. It does have a kind of like mineral sunscreen smell, although this is not a mineral sunscreen. It does not leave a white cast. It is just a really beautiful look. It gives a nice glow. It looks healthy. It doesn't feel gross on my skin. So I think it's one of the better sunscreens out there. And if you're dry or you don't have as many issues with putting things on top of sunscreen as me, I do recommend this. And if you're looking for just like a nice face sunscreen to not put anything on top of, again, I just think this is really beautiful. It definitely has a glow. It's a little more on the hydrating side, but beautiful nonetheless. Like, just because this doesn't work for that specific use, I can't deny how good of a product this still is. So really love this. This was sent to me, but I'm telling you, it's just good. Just beware of the scent. It does smell like a sunscreen. That leaves us with these two. Next in line, if I had to pick a number 2, I would go with the Glow Recipe one, just because I do like Glow Recipe stuff. This is just pretty dewy, pretty hydrating. It's also very fragrant. Like, it smells like their watermelon line. So if you like that line, it might not be a bad smell. It's just like pretty fragrant. This one my husband wears. I do not think it's good for makeup. Again, at least not for me. Like, it's a little more slick and like greasy feeling. But if you're dry and you want your skin to glow, it could be nice. Like, I don't think it's the worst. It's just definitely not for me and my oily skin. And then in third place, this is the Tower 28 SPF 30 SOS Face Guard. I believe this one's a mineral sunscreen. It is tinted, and they said it was universal. It is not universal, so this can leave a white cast on deeper skin tone, so keep that in mind. Although this has a slight tint on it, it doesn't show up like bronzy or tinted on me. This one probably feels the heaviest though out of the 3, so I didn't love this. It's almost kind of like sticky to me, greasy. I didn't like putting product over it. Like, this one was just a big no. So yeah, really the only good sunscreen I've tried lately is the Youth to the People. That one wins for sure. Okay, as for skin tints, I have 9 different products here, and this is how I'd rank them. At the bottom of the list, unfortunately, is Merit's The Uniform. This is the tinted mineral sunscreen. I have the shade number 28, and I really was hoping this would work out. If I could have a tint and a sunscreen all in one, it would solve a lot of my problems, but I just found this to be pretty greasy. It's doing all the things with sunscreen with makeup on top of it, but all in one. So, you know, it's just tough over here. I'm telling you, I just have the most finicky skin lately, so it's been rough. Everything's been playing me. This is definitely the category where the least works for me, okay? I'll just say that. Now this Jones Road tinted everyday sunscreen, I have the shade Sandy. This one's better than the Merit to me, but it just doesn't have that much coverage. So it's pretty yellow, which almost doesn't work for me, but I've just been having a problem with everything turning me pink. I put it on, everything seems fine. I look in the mirror, freaking pink. So again, I'm still testing this one. This one I've had the least. Maybe it will rise in the ranks as I go. I'm hopeful because I do like the tinted moisturizer that came out from them recently, but I mean, it still has that, look at the glow. Beautiful. If you have dry skin, I hope that everything's working for you, okay? That's all I gotta say. But I am struggling over here. This looks so pretty on my face, even immediately can look so pretty. Give it 2 hours, and that's what's 2 hours in a day? Nothing. I mean, I need something to last a little bit better, and since I'm not touching up, I've been getting played is all I can say, guys. Oh my gosh, I'm like embarrassed half the time I'm out when I'm testing stuff. Next, we have these Jane Iredale foundations. These were sent to me. I have the shade 14 Fair and 20 Light. Now 14 Fair is the one I think works for me the best, and I do think that the shades, at least to me, run a little bit on the darker side in terms of like light and fair shades, but light 20 is more neutral. This is a nice foundation. My issue is in the wear time. It gives you kind of a satin finish, almost a little powdery, but I find as I wear this, this wears away where I can see little patches of the foundation and then patches where it's not there, like in my pores, if that makes sense. And you know, maybe with some other products underneath, I wouldn't be getting that, but I've had it happen a few times with it, and I just don't love that. Like, it can look great, but the minute I start touching my face or patting away even some oils and we get to that end of the day, I just don't love that it's not only patched away, like I could handle that. It's that parts of the place where there's patchiness, there is some foundation, there is in others, and it really kind of emphasizes any texture, any pores, that type of thing. So unfortunately not one for me. I'm hoping I can find the right base product and that could kind of solve it, but that makes it not a winner in my book, which makes me so freaking sad. But yeah, I think that's like the truest like foundation, and that is something I'm thinking about trying to go back to. I know skin tints are all the rage right now, but I just find with some of those more like medium coverage foundations, I have a better chance of it working on my skin. Like those types of formulas tend to work better and they're not as glowy, and I might be going back to foundations. We need regular foundations back, guys. Number 6 on my list is the Milk Makeup Skin Tint. This is a super glowy product, so I really recommend this for people with combination skin if you like something glowy or dry skin. But I can't lie, there's something about the skin tint I really do kind of like. I just get so oily. It wears well on my skin. That's the thing I really like. Like, it's smooth. You can tell in the swatch alone the way the coverage is gonna go on is just nice. And that's the thing that really had me trying this so much. This is the shade 4. I was given all these in PR, but let me show you the different shades that I have. This is number 3, which is a little bit more almost cool, but it leans kind of neutral. And then I also have number 2. I do like the way this feels on the skin. You just have to like a glossy look because it really will leave you very shiny. And I'm telling you, all the characteristics this has, I should not like it, but it lays nice on my skin, and that is so hard to come by. Like, so many things like look weird on my nose or like, you know, don't work here or there. This lays nice. It's just not the formula I need. I need whatever this is doing in a demi matte formula, you know, even a velvet matte formula. Please give it to me. I think it would be amazing. So that's why it's kind of in the middle. Like, it shouldn't work for me. In a lot of ways it doesn't, but I kind of still like the formula. I'm not gonna lie. We're getting on to a similar thing. This is from Chantecaille. This is number 5, I wanna say. And I'm gonna kind of bring in this other Chantecaille product because this is number 4. So they're gonna be next to each other because I just wanna show you what they look like. These are the new packaging of the Future Skin foundation from Chantecaille. I have the shade Vanilla here, and then I also have the shade Ivory. Now, I actually have been loving this foundation. I think it's great. The reason it's not number 1 is because of the shades, and I don't know if I need to go in store and see if I can find something that isn't as let me make sure I don't put too much, isn't as pink, but these do turn a little too pink on me. This one, Vanilla, isn't as pink. It's a little more peachy, I guess, a little more warm, but I'm not quite that dark, I feel like. So I feel like on the edges, you can kind of see it a little bit more. Like it's just not the right shade in that way. And then for Ivory, although this looks peachy on my face, this is the one I'm talking about where I'm like, I look pink. Like something about it, the coloring is off, but the actual product, stunning, beautiful, amazing for a light coverage everyday look. The way this looks on my skin is beautiful, lets my skin shine through. I just use my fingers to apply it. That's how I like it best. And honestly, it looks so good. And what I love is, yes, I'll get a little oily throughout the day, but the oils just kind of sit on top of the foundation and I can remove them without it getting patchy. It never gets cakey or clings onto dry patches. It doesn't like pool in my pores. It doesn't do any of that weird crap at the end of the day, which I love. Like it's just the oil. I remove the oil on top. Everything's good to go. So if you can find a shade that works for you, I mean, this would be number one if I had a shade more like this. So this is the Just Skin Tinted Moisturizer. I don't like this as much in formula, I feel like, as the other ones, but this is more of like a yellow tone, and I like this tone on my skin so much more. It looks pretty warm there, but it is different than the other two. I'm telling you, these make me look like I'm a little sunburned or like something's going on. This one looks a lot more natural, and this is a nice tinted moisturizer, don't get me wrong, but there's just something about the Future Skin that I think is superior to the tinted moisturizer. So kind of a tough one. I want this color, this formula, but can't always get what you want. I need to really go look at the shades of the Future Skin, because if I can find that perfect color, I'm telling you, this would be my everyday foundation and I wouldn't even have to worry. And all the Chantecaille were PR. Now we're getting into top three, but I'm telling you, even this top three is still like, I don't know. I still go back to my Natasha Denona concealer because I just feel like some days these work really well, some days these don't. So it's just been hard to feel really confident in what my choices are. The Hourglass I think is a great product, but it's just a little on the glowy side, so keep that in mind. I feel like this would probably be best for, again, combo skin or dry skin. It can look really nice on my skin. I really like the color. I think the color is one of the best things for me. It's number 3. I'm hoping maybe in winter it'll be nice to give me some moisture while it's colder out and I'm a little less oily, but yeah, it's nice. I think a lot of people would like it. It could be one to definitely check out, but I can't even give it a full-on yes. Like truly, I don't know if any of these are just like 100% yeses. For number 2, these are the Makeup Forever Super Boost Skin Tints, and I have shade 1 and 2. These were sent to me. I think the packaging is pretty weird. I don't know how much I love it, to be honest. It's not the worst, but I tend to wear number 2, and I do find that these are better for me in terms of like my oily skin, so I like that about them. If I use a brush though, it can cling to some dry patches. It can look a little finicky around my nose, so I just have to be a little careful around that area, but it's a skin tint that at least is gonna hang on a little better on my skin, you know what I mean? And for a skin tint, you know, it definitely gives me some coverage, a little bit of redness reduction. It's one of the better skin tints I've found for longevity, but again, I just have to be careful with any of those dry patches and what condition my skin's in. Surprisingly, number 1 is the Jones Road Just Enough Tinted Moisturizer. I have the shade Porcelain, which is a nice like neutral color, and I would say a little bit on the darker side for a porcelain overall. Like it's not as light as even that Makeup Forever. This just lays really nice on my skin. It's the one that's gone on the best every single time I've worn it. I feel like it lasts even while getting oily throughout the day. Like I still have to touch up. I'm still gonna get oily, but it doesn't look like a hot mess, you know, at the end of the day. Not a ton of coverage, but I would say out of all of these, it's just the one I've had the most positive experiences with over and over again. Still kind of glowy. I'm not even saying this is perfect, but it is number 1 out of this group. And yeah, that's my ranking of the skin products. Let me know what you've been loving. If you have similar base products you absolutely love, like the Natasha Denona concealer, I'm trying to think, because that's like the main thing I've been using now for a few years almost at this point, and I don't know if anything's quite topped it. Okay, here's kind of an overview of the categories. Some things don't really fall into things, so, you know, I'll just give you reviews on those separately, but I have some lip liners. These are kind of glosses and oils, and then we have the squeeze tube lip balms and a few randoms. Let's start in the category I love the most. I think at this moment, these are lip liners. I just love a lip liner. Even if I'm not doing much, I usually put a lip liner on, and I have different ones for different occasions. Definitely some loves here and definitely some I don't love as much. I have 7 different formulas, and in 7th place is this REM Beauty lip liner pencil. I have the shade, I think maybe it's called EQ. First off, it is a twist up pencil. My preferred is a sharpenable pencil. This is also a little dry, so it tugs a bit and it does lock down. I know that's like a positive thing for a lot of people, but I want a lip liner that sure is gonna stick around, but I like blendability. I don't wanna like sacrifice that for a long lasting lip liner, something that's gonna stick on even when maybe I don't want it to stick on, you know? The color is really pretty, but it's just a little dry. It tugs a little. It's just like not my formula in every which way. So definitely bottom of the tier for me, number 7 for sure. Next, number 6, these are from Rhode, and these are the new lip liners, the Peptide Lip Shapes. These are a little different, and I knew going in, you know, there was a potential I might not like them because they are twist ups, but they are kind of like a sheer velvet matte blurring kind of formula, and I love the Refi lip liners that came out last year that are a little bit thicker like this, and I was hopeful maybe this would work for me, but with these I find that I just get such a messy lip look that I don't love it. I think this one, is it Twist? Lift. Okay, I really do like the colors. Lift is really beautiful. This first one's called Lunge, and the more warm toned one is called Bend. This last one is actually called Twist, which is the coolest out of everything. Okay, maybe not the coolest, but it's more brown toned cool. And I love the colors. I can make these work, don't get me wrong, but I do prefer the Refi ones if I'm wanting something kind of blurred. These can give you that blurred, bigger lip look, but I find it just a little messy. They're just not quite for me. I've been trying to make them work. I'm gonna keep trying. You know, sometimes your style changes and whatnot, but if you're looking for something like this, I would go with the Refi lip blur liners. These next two I feel like are tied for 5th place. You could put either one. I have reasons for either one being in 5th place, but we're really into only good stuff now, so keep that in mind. I'll talk about the newest one to me. This is the Westman Atelier lip liner. This is a pencil liner, super creamy and buttery smooth, and this is the shade Biscuit, which I initially wanted because I love the biscuit shade in the contour, and I thought, ooh, a contour for your lips. But then when I swatched, I do think there are some other more rosy colors I would enjoy. That being said, this does give a nice contoured look to my lips. It blurs out, like it's what I kind of want these to do. I can get more with this. This one does lock down to me though, but you do have some time to blur it out how you want, so I would just choose this one over the Rhode ones personally, and I'm definitely interested in trying some other colors. It's like the perfect mix of the pencil liners I like with a little bit more of those long wearing qualities while still being super blendable and creamy. So definitely a good lip liner release from Westman Atelier. The other one I have here is from MAC, and this is the shade Cool Spice, which I believe came out this year, re-released. I don't really know. I'm not like the biggest MAC girly. I just love the MAC lip liners. I think they're great. They're a little bit drier, but I love them as a pencil lip formula. I think they're just like a perfect standard of what a good lip liner should do, and specifically Cool Spice is a nice color for me. As much as it says cool, it can sometimes pull even a little bit warm on me, but I really do like this one. But MAC has tons of colors, and again, this is just a good lip liner formula. Number 3, a controversial pick, I feel like. This is the Huda Beauty Lip Contour Stain in the shade Soft Nude. Now, I really like the tips on these, but they are definitely easy to get dried out. The color on me is a little bit more of like a blushy pink with a little neutrality to it. I've really been enjoying lining my lips with this though, and then putting like a gloss on. I think it looks really good, and the stain looks really natural. That's one of the things I've been enjoying with lip liners. If I'm not gonna have a more done up face, sometimes lip liners can look a little out of place on me, like what's going on. But this stain lets me get like a nice definition without it looking like a bunch of product on my lips. So I really do like them. I'm kind of coming around to the stains. I'm seeing what people are seeing in it. I tend to like draw this on my lips and then really blend it out so I don't get too harsh of lines. Like that's not what I'm looking for with a stain, but it has some really good lasting power. So I'm really enjoying this. I just wish it had more product in it because there is barely any product in this thing. I have used it quite a bit, but like I haven't even had it a month, and the tip of this is definitely already dry and hard to get product on my lips. And number 2 for lip liners, I've really been enjoying these Lisa Eldridge lip liners. These are the Sculpt in Shape. I have 1N and 0N. I used to love 1N over 0N, but now I love both of them. These are when I want a more defined lip. Like maybe I'm going out or I want my lips to look really good in photos. These are perfect. If you like a more structured lip just every day, I think these would be great as well. Beautiful colors. 1N is more of that like rosy brown on me, which is beautiful. And then 0N adds something that's a little bit more of like a brown color. So again, looks a little more done up, but I feel like my lips look really structured and bigger when I use these lip liners. And they're kind of a perfect pencil lip liner formula where you have some time to blend them out. They don't like lock down, but I do find I get some good wear out of them. Just a great lip liner formula. Really loving these. And she has a ton of different colors. She does them more like cool, neutral, and warm, I believe. So these are both in the neutral category. And at my number 1, if you guys have been watching my videos, this comes as no surprise, but the Merit lip liners, I'm obsessed with them. These are so different than anything else on the market. They're glossy, they're a gel, they're like semi-opaque, but I absolutely love them. This is the shade Sportif, and then I also have the shade Bespoke. I love, though, my absolute favorite one that I've actually used all the way up is called Beverly Hills. I've repurchased it and I've lost it. I don't know if it's in a pant pocket. I honestly feel like it might actually be like lost and gone because I cannot find it, and I absolutely love that one. So I will be repurchasing a third one of those because I love it so much. But when I'm doing very basic makeup, even no makeup, these lip liners look great. Specifically with the shade Beverly Hills, which again, I'm so sad I can't show you. That one's a little more pink and a little less kind of neutral and desaturated in the same way these ones are. And the glossiness of it, while it lines my lips, just makes them look plumper and bigger and defines them in such a natural way that is ever so slight but really impactful, I think. Again, for a no makeup look type thing, I feel like it's like something you're into or not. You know, you might want something more impactful that looks like makeup, and that's cool too, but these are special. I really, really love them. They are glossy, but I find, you know, on the outer edges of my lips, if I'm not like eating a ton or drinking a ton, like they still last on me. And the gel kind of dries down over time. Again, not like super locked down, but also not like an actual lip gloss to me anyway. So I really love them. Not a lot of product in these babies either, but you know, like I said, I'm gonna purchase my third one. So I obviously really like these. These are like a really, really big hit for me. Let's talk about the squeeze tube lip balm craze that we have going on. It is never ending. It continues and continues. So I'm gonna give you, out of the kind of recent crop or so, and also just new ones that have come into my life, what I think's worth it, what I don't. Starting off on the bottom, unfortunately, the Florence by Mills Buttercream Super Balm. I just didn't love the amount of pigment this had. It's just pretty opaque, and so it kind of feels a little gloopy to me in a way I didn't love. If this was just more sheared out, I think it'd be so much better. So I just want to give them a chance. The names were really cute. This is called Toasted Sugar. There were like some other really pretty colors, but I say skip these, unfortunately. Next here, these are from e.l.f. They're the Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balms. This is the shade Vanilla Toffee, and this is not bad, even though it's like at the bottom here. Let me tell you what number it is. This is number 8 out of 9. It has a better opacity to me for like a lip balm like this. It's glossy. It feels fine on the lips. It's nothing special to me though. I mean, e.l.f. needed to make their version, of course. These are so popular, so it makes sense that they're out there. I just would say get one of the Summer Fridays over this. Like, I know it's more expensive. The price point's the biggest difference here, but I just say invest in the one you want and just have the one, and you don't need to try a billion of these lip balms, you know? Number 7 out of 9, these are the Glaze Craze Tinted Lip Serums from Laneige. Was so excited for these. There's sugar glaze, peach glaze, and cinnamon sugar. I love the smell of sugar glaze so much. They also have a little bit of a different applicator here. Let's get up close and personal, baby. It's like a donut, okay? So kind of cool. I like the innovative packaging, something a little different. I thought these were gonna be a little little more sheer, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's not completely opaque, but it's more color than I thought initially we were gonna get. They're a little more like, I feel like almost like a lip gloss in a tube. Like, I don't know. I thought I was gonna love these, okay? I was prepared for these to be my favorites, and I just don't love them like I feel like I should. I love the lip glowy balms from them so much more, and it's a very similar category. I would just go with those over these. Like, use a lip liner and use one of the lip glow balms instead of one of these to me. Kind of in the middle here, this is number 6 from NYX. This is the Smushy Matte Lip Balm. This one's different than all the other ones here because as much as it's in a squeeze tube, this is giving a matte blurred effect, and I have the shade Soft Smile. It has kind of this almost like coconutty smell. I really quite like the smell. I don't know what it is. It kind of smells coconutty to me, but you can see there, like, no shine from this lip balm. It feels nice on the lips. It's actually more hydrating than you'd expect. Like, what the heck's going on? But it has a matte look on your lips. I think it's fun, a little innovative. I don't know what the other colors are like. This is like a nude shade. It's fine, not my favorite color. I don't know, just because it's different doesn't mean I need to love it, I guess is how I feel. Like, it's not bad, but I don't love it. So that's where the NYX goes. If I wanted to do a matte blurred lip, I have a few other options I would choose over this. We're into top 5, but I really feel like top 3 is where it's at. This is the Dior Lip Glow Butter, and I have the shade Glazed Pink. Now, I think this is so cute. If you're really like, I gotta get this, and you want to pay the money because this is like $42 more than their blush, like what? You know, if you really want it, get it, girl. That's what I gotta say. It's gonna be expensive. It's Dior. This pink is really pretty. It's very, very sparkly, but it doesn't look like iridescent on my lips, so I like that about it. And for how much sparkle's packed in here, you really can't feel it, so I'm happy about that as well. Is it worth $40? I can't tell you that. Like, it's cute, it's nice, I'll use it, but it's not my top fave, and if you were like trying to convince yourself not to get it, like, you don't need to get it, you know what I'm saying? But it's also not like a bad product either. It's just expensive. It also has a little bit of like a minty tingle and smell to it, so keep that in mind. Next, number 4, and honestly I feel like these two specifically are kind of tied in their own weird way, but the Glow Recipe Glass Balm in the Watermelon Bingsu color, I like this. I think it's nice. I mean, if you already have a million of these, I don't think you need it, but I have enjoyed using it. It has a nice cushy plush feel on my lips, a nice amount of opacity. I like these kind of pink colors with a lot of the lip liners I do, so that's nice. It has a good amount of lasting power on it as well. The Summer Fridays one I have here is the new one in Pink Guava, and I feel like color-wise they're kind of similar. That's why I'm kind of putting them next to each other. Now the Summer Fridays is a bit thinner, and honestly I feel like this one is thinner than even the other Summer Fridays that I have. So I don't know if other people are experiencing that, but I'm definitely finding this one a little bit thinner on my lips than the other colors. But that being said, I still like it. I just don't think you necessarily need both of them. Like, they're gonna give you a very similar look. If you like something thinner, then I'd go with the Summer Fridays. And just in general, I think I prefer the Summer Fridays. But the Glow Recipe in this color is a nice one, you know, I've enjoyed it. Number 2 in lip balms, this one is the Ulla Henriksen new Peach Glaze. Everything is called Peach Glaze. Oh my gosh, the Laneige one's called Peach Glaze. I swear everything is. I already love this formula. Now, I don't think it's gonna be for everyone because this is a bit thicker. Like, this is a thick, plush, glossy formula. And as much as I want to say it's not sticky, this is a lip balm that's going to stick around on your lips a little bit longer, but I feel like it's more moisturizing than it is like sticky to me. Anyway, I really like this. The smell on this is more like a tropical peach gum than it is like peach rings. So keep that in mind. I don't find that the tint, although it looks kind of orange here, really shows up too much on my lips in a weird way. So it's basically overall clear looking, and it's just one of my favorite formulas in these kind of glowy lip balms, this and the Summer Fridays, but I prefer this Peach Glaze to the Summer Fridays, specifically Pink Guava shade, if that makes sense. That's why this ranked higher. Pretty nice. I'm very happy with it. And number 1 on my list, this one is from YSE Beauty. This is a newer brand sold at Sephora. It's the Like a Gloss Hydrating Lip Tint, and I have it in the shade Fashionably Late. I saw this pop up on the site and I just wanted to try it. I love that it has a metal applicator. I just think that's such a luxe you know, feel on my lips. I love that cooling sensation as I'm putting on the lip balm. So this really wins in packaging. I love the amount of tint on here. You can really see how even the tint has applied. I feel like it looks really great on my lips. It's just been my go-to tinted lip balm out of everything you've seen here, and it's quickly become one of my favorites in these squeeze tubes. So if you're like me and saw this on Sephora, it might be one to check out. It just feels nice and hydrating, not too thin, not too thick. It doesn't feel like oily. It has a nice cushion to it. It's just an easy wear and really comfortable the whole wear on my lips. So this is number one for sure. Really love this. One last thing on this one, it does have a little bit of a sweetness to the taste, so keep that in mind. Same with the pink guava. That one also has a little bit of sweetness on it, and it's not necessarily bad, but it's definitely there. We're gonna do some random products before we get into the lip glosses and kind of lip oils. So I have the newest Laneige lip balm here, and it's supposed to smell like raspberry sherbet. It also comes with this cute little spoon, so it's a fun collab in that way. This overall comes out to like a baby pink on the lips, which I really like that color actually. The fruity flavor on this kind of reminds me of the pink guava shade from the Summer Fridays. It kind of gives a little bit of the Too Faced lip injection plumping. Like, it's not my favorite fruity flavor that they've done, but I also don't hate it. It's just not my favorite. I think they could have done something different, but not necessarily bad. I feel like this is a very specific thing. Like, you're gonna get it or you're not gonna get it, you know? Like, you're either into it or you aren't. Same great lip mask formula though. Now we have some like stains. We have this kind of like matte blur liquid lip, and then we have the Bisou Balms from Violette FR, and I really love the Bisou Balms. These are my favorite thing here, hence why I have 4 of them, you know? I quite like it. This is what I would prefer to use instead of the matte squishy balms from NYX. I do feel like those maybe are slightly more hydrating. These can be a little drying on the lips, but I just like the control I have in how you put the product on. In the squeeze tube, it's easy to like put too much on your lips, and I don't know, I don't really love that feeling. And these give that same kind of blurred effect. I just think they're so beautiful. So this is Mon Cherie, that's the red. This kind of pinky one is Batiste. I think this is my favorite one. I just love this kind of brighter red. It's so pretty. It's called Bon Bon Coquelicot. I know that's not quite right. And then last year, this is the most neutral. It's called Callison. And honestly, all of them are stunning. They have a lot of other colors as well. And if you're looking for like a matte blurred lip, I really suggest these. They're so beautiful. This Clarins water lip stain, I do think is really nice. It has like a brush tip applicator. This stain takes a second to set in, which is kind of nice. So you have a little bit of time to play, and really it's giving like a nice wash of color. That's me blending it out, and you can see like, yeah, it's there, but you gotta let it sit for a while. If you're looking for something kind of like this, I mean, the stain might set in a little bit faster, but there are so many K-Beauty lip products I feel like that do this, but I do appreciate that it's a little bit slow to stain. So to me, this is like a nice middle ground. Like, it's not the perfect product for me right now, but I could see a lot of people using this like every day, really loving it. I just don't like putting too much because it can get sticky. And speaking of sticky, this one from YSL, I'm actually so sad this doesn't work for me because this also gives that kind of blurred lip look, and I do think it's so pretty, but it's sticky, you guys. This is so sticky. So you put this on, it starts to dry down, and once it's dried down, it does like lock in place, but then it's sticky locked in place. Like, who wants that? This is the YSL the Inks Blur lipstick. Such a weird name. In 232. I mean, you can see how beautiful that is, but I just don't like that it stays sticky on my lips once it's dried. You could powder it. I mean, there are ways to get around it, but for the price of this one, I just don't think that it's worth it. Again, go with the Bisou Balms, go with even the NYX ones over this, you know what I mean? This was an unfortunate bust for me. We are now on to some lip balms, lip oils, anything with like a doe foot applicator. Coming in at last place, 9 out of 9. This is the Iris and Romeo Weekend Skin Moisture Lip Balm. I was really excited for this. I'm sad that I don't like it. I hate to say it. This is SPF 30 in the product, which I think is great. I love the idea of that, but I can taste it, and I'm very sensitive to that. This tastes like the sunscreen. It gets in the back of my throat, and I cannot untaste it for forever. So in that way, it just becomes unwearable. This one's the shade Dawn. They have 2 other colors. If you're not as sensitive to the lip balm taste, I mean, it could be something to check out, but that is just like a no-go for me. Similar to an SPF taste, but different. These are 8 out of 9 for me from Chantecaille. They redid these lip glosses, and they are some really pretty shades. They have a lot of sparkle going on. The Love shade has the least sparkle and doesn't have the issue of grittiness that the other ones do. But you know, these sparkles in here, they're kind of big and it makes them pretty. Don't get me wrong, like what an ethereal, beautiful lip look, but I can feel them through the gloss itself. It's not cushioned enough to like stop me from feeling the grit, and especially as I wear them, then I'm left with just like little like shimmer chunks on my lips. I don't really love that. Rose doesn't have the same problem, so if you're gonna go with one of these, go with that one. These were sent to me, but yeah, I wanted to love them, I really did, but I can't get on with gritty lip products. I'm pretty sensitive to it, so those unfortunately don't work for me, even though they're very pretty. If you love the idea of an iridescent gloss and you don't want the grittiness, the Fenty lip oil in the shade Miss Jellyfish, I think it is. Yeah, this could be a good option for you. I've just found that I don't wear the actual like iridescent lips as much, you know what I'm saying? So definitely choose this over the Chantecaille for some fun iridescence. It is really beautiful. It feels really nice on the lips. I almost wish I went with a different color that was more neutral. I think I would wear it a little bit more than this one. This is really more color preference than anything else. I feel like 4, 5, and 6 are kind of tied. It more depends on what kind of formula you want. I think all of these are solid. You know what I mean? Like I think all of these are solid lip product options. If one of these strikes your fancy, first here I have this from Clarins. This is the lip oil in the shade number 1. And I really feel like if you're looking for a true lip oil, this is exactly that. It's not really a sticky gloss. It really is like a thick oil. It feels nice on the lips. It's solid. It could be your favorite. It kind of just hits in the middle for me, but is a good product. Like I could see why people like it. Next for glosses, this is Makeup Forever Super Boost lip glosses. These were also sent to me and I like these a lot as well. They are a more, you know, they're a gloss. They're not a lip oil. They are a gloss. They could be slightly on the sticky side, but not really. I don't really think so. They just give you that kind of glassy lip look that is more shiny, a little bit smooth looking, like a glass lip. I really like the Wherever Walnut shade as well as the kind of cherry pink shade. It's called Juicy Peach, so it's not cherry, but those are the two I like the most. This one here is milky, okay? This is called Latte Glaze, and just be warned that if you put this on too much, it's gonna look kind of weird because it's so milky, but if you do like a milky gloss, it does blend out. Just don't use too much of it, okay? That's all I gotta say. If you're just going for this one, it might be a bit of a shock when you first put it on, but blend it out, maybe take a little off. It still works. I prefer the other colors though. I don't know, just a solid gloss. I don't love the packaging, but it's not bad. Then kind of in that same category, this is from Glossier. It's the Lip Glaze, and I have the shade Chili. These do have kind of a cooling, slightly burning, slightly plumping kind of feel to it. The doe foot hair is kind of long, so putting it on your lips sensorily is like a little weird, but it's fine. It's overall super sheer. It doesn't give you as glassy and glossy of a look as the other ones I've swatched. You can see that there. It's a little more low-key, which is kind of nice, again, depending on what you want. It's solid. I think if you pick this up, you could really like it. It's not my favorite, but I don't hate it. We're into top 3 territory. This from Flower Nose I think is so good. This is also from the Shells Jewel collection. I do have a code with Flower Nose as well, and like I said, I have that video if you want to check out swatches of everything, but I think this is just such a beautiful lip gloss. So pretty. Again, this is shade 5, but there are a few other shades I really like as well. I think the packaging looks great. It just feels really good on the lips. I like when a lip product can go on my lips kind of no matter what condition, whether I've just exfoliated or not, and it doesn't get weird. Like some products, they aren't the worst, but you put them on and then like a little bit later you have like balls of stuff in there, like whether it's like dead skin from your own lips and your own self or like other things. I just don't love when lip products get like that, like 15 minutes on. This one just stays so juicy and glidey and just nice on your lips. So love this. It has a green apple smell, a little bit of a cooling sensation, but not a burn. It's definitely not like plumping, just really, really good. Was pleasantly surprised by this. This lip oil from Merit I really liked. This is the shade Tabby. It's the tinted lip oil. I really love the shade Jeté from this line. It does have that like pH thing going on, but the pH works in that one, okay? This has that kind of Merit classic desaturated, just like interesting lip colors. I will say I think that they do something a little different for what's out there. There's a little bit of like a sheen from actual like shimmer, but it's very subtle, nothing like sparkly sparkly. Again, it just has a really nice lip feel. It's thin without being greasy and has a little bit of that plush feel to it. I need a little bit of that in any of my lip products. I don't want to straight up like just oil on my lips, like that feels uncomfortable. It works well with the liners, it works well on its own. It's just a little bit of a different color for me as well, but still very neutral, natural, like, you know, could wear anytime. So loving this. But guys, the number one lip product, if I'm being so real with you, this is from La Mer. I love this. I got it in an advent calendar last year, so that's why I have it. It is very expensive, I hate to say it, but honestly, out of every lip product you've been seeing, except for the lip liners, because I'll wear this with my lip liners, this is what I've been wearing the most of lately. If you like the idea of a liquefied lip balm, that's what this is. It has a little bit of a minty taste to it. It's a little bit sweet as well. But again, not plumping, it doesn't burn. It just looks so good on the lips. It feels so good on the lips. Like, I just only want to wear this. I've been wearing it so much. I actually can like see the use that I've put into this tube, and I'm really glad I got to try it in the advent calendar. I definitely love it. If you love a luxury moment, I mean, this thing is good. I don't even think you need all the other lip balms. Like, get rid of all the other squeezy lip balms, just use this. That's kind of how I feel about it, you know? Like, this can do everything you kind of need. It's glossy. It just looks really pretty on the lips. It feels good on the lips. It feels hydrating. It's been my go-to kind of balm lip product, even though it's not in a squeezy tube. It's so good. Definitely deserves number one. So good. It's getting random and weird here at the end. If you've made it this far, shout out to you. Like, I know this has to be a long video, but I wanted to give some thoughts on some of these products. So here we go. This Huda Beauty powder, this is the Easy Bake, but I repurchased this during the sale, and in that time I had the old one, and I believe this powder's been reformulated, and although I still can use it, it's not bad. I can tell the difference. This isn't as long wearing to me as the original formula was. That one really kept me matte. This one, I just don't feel like I get quite those results. It's still nice and thin on the face. Like, it still looks good, but just that wear time I don't see with this one like I did the original. So I just wanted to update you guys on that. Kind of makes me sad. And I also have to say, I never realized everyone talking about the smell of the powder. This new one, maybe my other one was just really old. I'm telling you, I did have it for a long time, but this smell of this one is also quite strong. Like, it's a very strong smelling powder, and I could see why that would turn people off. Although this is like a cult favorite powder, so, you know, a lot of people love it still. I have a few setting sprays here. This one from Bare Minerals. It's the original Mineral Veil 24-hour setting spray. It just doesn't hold a candle to my Charlotte Tilbury one, so unfortunately I'm gonna pass this on. The spray is really good though. I did like that on it. Like, it has a nice mister, so I loved that. And if you don't have as many issues with oil and all that, maybe it'll work for you, but I just like the Charlotte Tilbury. I'm back to it. It really keeps my makeup on. Now this one is the new one from One Size. Let me zoom out a little. We're so close. Like, let's not be that close, guys. This is the One Size Powder Melt Glass Setting Spray. If you want a dewy setting mist that's gonna lock in your makeup, I mean, this is what you need, okay? You will love this. If you have dry skin and you get powdery, this could be something to check out. Now, I'm already oily, and I will say this keeps me looking glossy and glassy without overly oily for a while. Like, I do think it's adding longevity while still giving a more glossy look. So it's doing its job. It's just that I would prefer to look more matte and then more dewy by the end of the night, and that's kind of the transition of my makeup, then kind of starting that way and still looking that way at the end of the night, kind of. I don't know, that's just my preferred way, but I do think it works, and like, depending if you've over powdered, you can really use this to bring some stuff back while also getting some longevity. I thought I would update you on this Dew Facial Cleansing Oil. I like this okay, but I prefer my pharmacy cleansing balm, so I would just stick with that. I'm gonna finish this one up, and I really do like checking out the new stuff from Dew, so, you know, I'm always interested in trying stuff, but I'm not sure if this is the one for me. The product that's like my new holy grail, I finished the one up that I bought in the sale, and now I have a new one. This is the K18 Air Wash Dry Shampoo. I'm telling you, this is like the best dry shampoo for oily scalps, especially if other dry shampoos kind of dry you out. I do like the volume other dry shampoos give. This isn't adding any of that grit or like that texture that I feel like other dry shampoos can do for me, and I did like that about them, but this makes me feel truly like my hair hair was just washed. Like, this truly feels like fluffy in the best way without the oils. And if you have an oily scalp, you know that that feeling only lasts a few hours out of the shower. Other than that, like, every minute's a countdown to the oil. So I've really been loving this. Highly recommend it. You have to shake it well when you use it, and it is like a wet spray. So it was a very different experience using this than other dry shampoos, but like I said, I went through this, bought a new one, love it. So freaking good. And it lets me choose when I actually want to add that texturizing product to my hair and when I don't really need it. And I can just let my hair be a little more natural. Like, I just like the lower maintenance, but still the oil control. And last here, I debated putting different fragrances in here, but I felt like there were plenty of products, and I have a whole fragrance channel, so go check it out. But the Josie Maran Vanilla Vibes fragrance mist, there are some issues with it, okay? Like, the sprayer on this, trash, 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 trash. Watch this. It's just so, like, look at how wet that is, okay? This thing goes hard, so, you know, don't spray this on your clothes, but the smell of this vanilla is so good, and it really redeems the vanilla vibes from the scrub that I tried from the same line from Josie Maran. That smelled so bad, and everyone was talking about how good it smells. They were getting this smell from it. Now I get it, but that product wasn't doing it for me. The mist is so good. Love using this out of the shower. I'm a vanilla girl, so I do lots of different combos with this. I mean, you can see, or maybe you can't, but I'm halfway done. Like, I only have half left. It's a milky mist, which is a little different, but I just can't get over the scent, guys. It's such a good one. If you love a vanilla, I would check it out. And like I said, go check out my fragrance channel if you want all the fragrance recommendations. I almost forgot one thing, but I did want to show the BK Beauty solid brush soap. They just came out with these, and I used the small one because I wasn't sure if I was gonna love it, but it did a great job cleaning my brushes. It has like a little pad in here. This is removable actually, but you can use this to kind of help clean your brushes. I am partial to the Beauty Blender soap, whether it's the liquid or the solid. So I was a little skeptical, but I've been enjoying it. I'm definitely going to use these babies up. Thought I would let you guys know. I do have a code with BK Beauty, so you can always use that to save some money. I love their brushes so much, and now they have a cleaner for it. And with that, I believe I have done it. I kind of compiled here what I feel like the absolute tip-top best products are. These are the things that I would go out and repurchase immediately. I'm traveling with these items. Like, I'm using these off camera. I have to pry these out of my hands to test other things. And even if I had multiple in the formula, I just picked one of the colors, and I just would be so happy with just this makeup. There's 19 products here, so like 20% of everything I showed you is what I am just loving, like personal top faves. I'd even throw in the sunscreen from Youth to the People. Honestly, I really hope this gave you guys like a snapshot into the new makeup I've been trying this year, kind of updating you and comparing things in similar categories, what I'm loving. You know, there's always so much coming out, but I've really been honing in with what I really like. It's been great finding products I actually want to use over and over, and these are the winners so far. So I hope my reviews were helpful. Let me know what you've been loving down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.